Welcome to Dark Exodus.
And peace, folks. Welcome back to another edition of the Proper Thought series right here on the old TPOT YouTube page. I'm your host, X, of course, but you knew that already. That's why your black ass is here. Tonight, as you can see over my head here, Dark Truth with the ladies, but I freaking sent the ladies the wrong damn link, y'all. So, ladies, if you're out there watching, go ahead. That second link I sent you is the right link. I sent them the wrong link for the wrong show. It's crazy, y'all. That's what happens when you take these off. Yeah, you take these off. Shit like that happens. So I gotta get the ladies back in here now. I see Lady George is down there. I just gotta wait for Lady Aisatta to come in. And so if y'all watching, check your emails because I sent y'all the wrong link because I sent y'all the links when I didn't have my goddamn glasses on, which was stupid on my part. But yeah. Yeah, as you can see, like I was saying, Dark Truth with the ladies. But before we get started here on D.X.L, let me go into my spiel. I got to thank all of you for your support, man, and your subscriptions, man, and just everything, man. The way y'all support this platform, man, not just with your subscriptions, your views, and your likes and your shares, also with your coins. You don't have to show up to these streams every week. You don't have to watch these videos, and you damn sure don't have to drop your hard-earned money on this platform. But you choose to do so, man, and it is greatly appreciated, you know. And I don't say that to stroke you, because by now y'all know I don't stroke you. But I appreciate all of you. I appreciate every single one of you, man. I appreciate all you good folks. And I just want you to know that, man, that I'm humbled, I'm honored, I'm thankful. And I appreciate all of y'all, man. Also, some new thing I got going on here. Some of you that are here used to be moderators, but you look at your name now and it is no longer in blue. Yeah, because we're doing things a little different around here now. If your name is in blue, that means I trust you moderate my stuff. You understand? Now, we had this discussion the other night about this disrespectful crap. All right. And this is what I want, man. Because tonight we're not going to have no disrespect. I know people feel a certain way, you know, about women and all that, because I feel a certain way about them myself sometimes. But these ladies up here tonight are my guests. And ain't nobody going to disrespect them. I don't give a shit who you are. I don't give a shit how big your platform is. I don't care how much you donate to this platform. You're not going to disrespect my guests. I'm cutting that shit out totally. You understand? So this is what I want my moderators to do. Any disrespect. If it's from a Negro, let's hurry up. Give them this. And I'm sorry, but the same goes for the ladies. They get this.
Fatality.
Do you get where I'm coming from? What I'm saying tonight and what I'm going to be saying every night, the disrespect will not be tolerated on my platform because I'm so tired of my guests coming up here and being disrespected. Yeah, I know it's fun to get up here and say a bunch of old crazy mess. And yeah, that's fine. Especially tonight because I have some special guests up here tonight. And anything crazy in the chat room, anything disrespectful, out of line, off the ship, I want y'all to erase it out of my chat room. Okay? Those of you who have wrenches, you're the people that I trust to do so. Don't make me regret it. That's all I'm saying. This is not personal. It's not. But this platform is going to be ran a particular way. My way. All right? All right. Now, I told y'all that we were going to have a surprise guest. And that surprise guest is none other than the Reverend Corinne Mack, president of the Mecklenburg chapter of the N.A.A.C.P. Can you hear me, Reverend Mack? Is she there? Is she there? Let me bring in Lady Danielle as well. Peace, Lady Danielle.
Hey, Teapot, how you doing?
What's going on? What's going on? I know Reverend Mack. She's on the screen. Are you there, Reverend Mack? Can you hear us? Reverend Mack? I don't know what happened to Reverend Mack, y'all. I don't know what happened to Lady Aisatta either. Lady Aisatta, if you're there, I sent you the wrong link. That first link was the wrong link because I happened to do it when I didn't have my glasses on. But I did send you the correct link. So check your email, Lady Aisatta. As a matter of fact, I will send it again. Reverend Mack? Reverend Mack, if you can hear me, you might have to go out and come back in, Reverend Mack. Kind of heard something, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Reverend Mack, can you hear me? I don't know what's going on. I don't know what happened. She must got a bad connection or something. She might have to oh, and she just dropped off. All right, she's probably having a bad connection. Let me resend the link to Lady Aisatta. She's probably like, X is crazy. Okay, I just got an email from her PR person. She's gonna try something. Okay, there's Lady Aisatta. Peace, Lady Aisatta.
Greetings.
Sorry about that. I sent everybody the wrong link. I sent the link out when I didn't have my glasses on, so
Oh, no
my
problem.
bad.
No problem. It's all good.
You know, I sent the link after I took these off, so that probably wasn't a good idea. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I can see Reverend Mack, but I can't bring her up because her stuff is disconnected. Reverend Mack, I don't know if you can hear me or not, but you might have to go out and come back in. Reverend Mack, okay, maybe she heard me. Maybe she heard me because I could see where her devices aren't connected back here in the control room. So it's probably some technical glitch she got going on. But anyway, welcome, ladies. As we wait for the president of the N.A.A.C.P to come in, the reason why I wanted you ladies to come on here tonight, and we spoke a little bit earlier, you know, in the back chat before we started, is because, you know, this thing with Kobe Bryant. Okay, I think Reverend Mack is back. Reverend Mack, can you hear us? Reverend Mack? Can you hear us, Reverend Mack? Okay. You might have to enable your microphone, Reverend Mack, if you can hear, enable your microphone. I mean, I can kind of hear something, but It's definitely a technical issue. Because I can kind of hear like some scratching or some feedback or something, some static. Yeah, you might have to go out and come back in again, Reverend Mac, if you can hear me. Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted you ladies on is because we were going to talk about this Gayle King and Kobe Bryant thing. But we're not going to talk about it the way everybody else has been talking about it, because I think many of us have missed a crucial point. I think it's something that we have overlooked. And that thing being that the way it was presented, okay, and I don't mean just by Gayle King or by CBS and also by Oprah Winfrey. It was presented in a way to not celebrate the good deeds of this brother, but to kind of focus on this one quote unquote bad thing that he had allegedly done. And I think there's a lot to be said about that. And I want us to talk about it. And I want to hear from some of you ladies. Let me see. Reverend Mac is back. Reverend Mac, can you hear us? Reverend Mac. Boy, it's something keeping me talking from the president of the N.A.A.C.P tonight, boy. What's going on? Can you hear me? Reverend Mac? I don't know what's going on, y'all. I have no idea what's going on.
We may
Lady
just have to
Danielle,
shoot from the hip till she hops on.
yeah. Well, this is the thing. Before I start my spiel, let me get you ladies' opinion about what you heard, and not so much of what you heard from Gayle King, but what you heard after that, subsequent to that. You know, the talk, the rhythm of the conversation, if you will. And whoever wants to go first can.
Go ahead, Sister George.
Okay. Well, when I heard that he died, you said, what did we hear prior? What did we hear when after Gayle King's comments or after her
Yes.
interview with Lisa Leslie?
Yes.
I heard a lot of women who were dissatisfied with that. It was a lot of women who was mad that she said that. But then I started to hear talk of women like, well, you know, it may have happened back in the day. It could have been a thing. But most people I talked to thought it was very inappropriate for her to ask that after his death.
Lady Aisatta?
Pretty much the same thing. You know, I heard a lot of people, supporting Snoop's his comment, and also I heard a lot of sisters, trying to, drag Kobe. A lot of sisters were kind of agreeing with Gayle as well. So I heard both sides of the coin. So.
Well, let me ask you ladies this. Do you think, as women, do you think that, because you think about a person like Kobe Bryant, right? And I don't want to talk about Kobe too much because I think he's been talked about enough. But when you think about a person like Kobe Bryant, not just a Hall of Famer, star athlete, world champion, all that kind of stuff, all that stuff aside, Kobe Bryant has done a lot for people. Okay. Kobe Bryant has done a lot for brothers. He's done a lot for California. He's done a lot for children. He's done a lot for people, period. None of that stuff was highlighted. Do you think that happened? Do you think that was done on purpose? Do you think that was done on purpose, where all the good things he's done failed to be highlighted, and this one smudge on his record was brought into the forefront, and not just by Gayle King. I mean, there were numerous reporters who did this. I did a story, I think it was last week, and I talked about a Washington Post reporter who 2 hours after Kobe's plane crashed, she had a story up about, this was like maybe 2 hours after the helicopter, had crashed. So do you think that was done intentionally?
I absolutely think it was done intentionally. I noticed when Black men build a legacy, it seems if they pass along, if they pass away or anything, it seems like they're what happened, if it was any type of drama that happened, that's usually brought to the forefront, or if they get into anything, it's like all the good deeds, anything good that they've done is actually ignored. And if they've done anything bad, they did anything bad, that's usually brought to the forefront. And I kind of think that's to demonize Black men and Black people. Like, no matter how much good you do, it's still not good enough for them not to bring it up, and especially within hours of him passing away.
Lady Aisatta.
Yeah, I agree with what Sister George said, and I definitely do. I do think it was done on purpose. Um, and I'm not trying to get ahead of myself because it's a lot that could be said regarding this. So I don't want to jump the gun. I want to stay in line with your question. But yeah, I think it
No,
was
say
done on
whatever you
purpose.
want. Say whatever you want, Lady Aisatta. Say whatever you want. Whatever you want to say it. Pull the trigger.
Okay. Yeah, it was done on purpose. And a lot of people were asking these questions and making comments about him being a rapist. But it's something that people fail to look at. Say this brother had done nothing. Say he was a regular old Joe Blow off the street and he and his daughter had perished in this accident. If that brother had done nothing, the fact that the woman who accused him had conducted herself the way she did, in my opinion, the line of questioning should have never surfaced. Her character, she basically, in a justified, made it her own damn character. Her actions, the way she carried herself around the time in which she tried to use him as a target, she messed her own self up. And I don't think, to me, I thought it was grimy that Gail didn't look at that before she decided to ask the questions. Because if I'm going to go in on you, I'm going to make sure I got my ammunition. I'm not going to go to bat for somebody who led a whorish lifestyle when she was trying to pin a rape on somebody. I'm just not going to do it. And it just
And we
seems like
have
it sounds like we're going to have to assassinate her character all over again just to vindicate Kobe. That's all. Sorry.
okay. We have Reverend Mac back. Can you hear us, Reverend Mac? Can you hear us?
She's actually she was speaking in the private chat and she was saying that she can hear you, but I don't know. I don't know if she can hear you now, but she
I
said in
can.
the private chat that she could hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear her. If she's speaking, I can't hear her. You might have to check your audio settings, Reverend Mac, or mute your mic from your end. I don't know. You might have to. I don't know if she's on a laptop or on a phone. If you're on a laptop, you probably have to enable your microphone and or camera, something to that effect. Yeah, okay. She can hear me, but I can't hear her. So it's definitely an audio problem on your end, madam. You may have to adjust your audio settings and allow the application to take control of your microphone. Oh, you disabled the mic. Yeah, you might want to enable that. You might want to enable that old microphone there, Reverend Mac. Okay. You might have to go out, enable it, and then sign back on. Right before you sign on, check your settings inside the app, make sure it has control of your microphone and stuff like that, and then come back on. Yeah, I think she's gonna do that because she just dropped off. We lost Lady Aisatta too. Well, let me ask you this, Lady Danielle. Now, ladies like you and Lady Aisatta, I mean, I know y'all are familiar with the term, pick me, and I still to this day don't know what that allegedly means. But ladies like you and ladies like Lady Aisatta, you're often called pick-me's because you don't really echo the talking points of many of the rank and file females on and off, media. And I would be interested in why. Why don't you share, you ladies? Why don't you share the hive mind? Why are you different? Why are you ladies known to be on a panel and say different things than the rank and file females?
Aisatta, do you want to go first?
You go ahead, sis.
Okay. So I pretty much started out on Facebook, and I was in a lot of Facebook groups with a lot of, I would consider them red pill men, or just men with a different thought process that I had never heard before. And so initially, the things that I was hearing, I kind of chalked it up to the men being crazy. They didn't really have good sense. They weren't loved. They're just crazy. And it was like the space just kind of kept growing. And I would go into other spaces and I would kind of hear the same sentiments echoed, which kind of caused me to take a second look at what they were talking about. And when I started to take a second look, it did dawn on me that they weren't all lying. And then I had men from all over the world saying some of the same things, a lot of the same things. And so then I get to YouTube, pretty much the same way. And it's like, I had kind of started to change my tune prior to me, because I'm still on Facebook, but when I was getting off of Facebook, I was starting to change my tune then. And it's kind of like me having I have a lot more understanding about what they're talking about. And a lot of the stuff that they talked about, I was actually guilty of myself. And so yeah, so I kind of I see where they're coming from a lot.
So you are familiar with the term pick me, right?
Yes.
Do you consider yourself to be a pick me?
No, I consider myself to be a good woman. But if they want to call me
What I mean, this is what I want to know. Like, what exactly constitutes a pick me? I mean, what brings that phrase along that guys are supposed to say the right things? Are you a woman that will be readily welcomed into male spaces because you kind of parrot male talking points? I mean, what is the definition? Educate me here.
I think that I do agree with a lot of the men's talking points, but it's not like I agree with men on everything, but I don't agree with women on everything. But if there's an injustice that's going on, and it's like the men are starting to say that they're leaving, they really feel some type of way about us, and there seems to be a real big disconnect, and you start like I really see it, and so it's like, if you agree with that, if you don't really echo feminist ideals, I think that a lot of women will have a lot of issues with that, because women feel like they're also victims. And so when a person feels like they're the victim, and you have another woman who's talking against them being victimized, or not necessarily talking about their victimization, then that typically puts you as the enemy, or pick me, or, well, what's another word for pick me? What was another word for it? I'm sorry. You forgot something. But yeah, people will say, you trying
There's
to get.
actually another word for it. There's another word for it.
Oh, it's mammy or
Oh,
male identity.
mammy. Yeah, mammy. Yes,
Yeah.
mammy. Yes, mammy.
So yeah, they'll be all right.
Aha. Well, we have Reverend Mac back. Can you hear me, Reverend Mac? Reverend Mac? I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
I don't know what's going on
Yeah, this is
tonight, because I
strange.
have a lot of good questions I want to ask Reverend Mac, and I've been chomping at the bit ever since we booked her, and I can't get to talk to her. That sucks. Well, let me go to Lady Aisatta while Reverend Mac works on her microphone situation. Have you encountered that? Have you been told that, you're a pick me, or have you heard that?
Yeah, I have. And I think I have a cousin that uses the term frequently. And for her, it's just a woman, a sister, who'll do whatever so a brother can choose her for relationship,
Mm,
marriage, or whatever. So yeah, I've heard that. But I came up in an environment and even existed as an adult in an environment where, you know, to do things in a way that will be pleasing to your mate is expected of you. And if you didn't want to mate, why? I mean, if you don't want to do those things, why would you even want to mate? So, in the environment I came up in, that's the thing to do. Please your husband, and even the brothers please their wives. So, out of the pick me side, I'm not, I don't agree with any of that. But I mean, who wouldn't want their spouse to be happy? That make any sense to me.
yeah, I mean, well, we have this tenuous standoff, especially on media. I don't see it as much in real life, but we have this tenuous standoff between men and women, on media. And see, if you fall on the opposite side, if you fall on the other team side, and you don't even have to be fully in. One thing I've noticed is you don't have to be fully in as a woman. You don't have to be fully, on the men's side per se. If you just kind of agree with men a little bit, you find yourself ostracized, and marginalized to a degree by other women because of the things you say, and you don't kind of fall in line. I've heard women referred to as weak, and like I said, a pick me, and they want to be accepted and all that kind of stuff because they don't necessarily follow the rank and file. And it's almost as if that people don't want you ladies to think for yourselves. They want you to think like the other women, the majority. I spoke to Cerulean Gray last night, and he said something very important. He said that he says things that are very unpopular. And I told him, I said, we all do. But what I think the difference between all of us is how many people see our views as unpopular. That is the problem. It's not the problem that you say unpopular things. It's the number of people who see it as unpopular. And I think what makes ladies like you unpopular. Okay, I think Reverend Mac is back. Let me see. Sorry about that. We don't put a pin in that. Put a pin in that. Okay. Reverend Mac.
Okay, I'm on my cell phone. Can you hear me? I'm on my cell phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you now.
Something's going on with my laptop.
Hello.
You cannot hear me. I'm on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so
can you hear
there's
me?
something going on with my laptop. I can hear you.
Okay. Well, welcome, madam.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Folks who may not know who this lady is here, this is the Reverend Corinne Mack, president of the NAAC chapter of the president of the Mecklenburg, NAAC chapter. Did I say that right?
That's good. It's just a title. It's okay.
Okay. So
greetings to you.
What a lot of people, and
greetings to you,
and I have a couple guests here. I have Lady Aisatta Muhammad here, and also Lady Danielle is here as well.
Hey, President Matt.
God bless you.
God bless you as well. Thank you.
Now that I have you here, Madam President, as you know, we broadcast from the Queen City, which is under your jurisdiction, right?
Yes.
What's the plan as far as the NAACP is concerned in this area? What is the plan going forward in 2020 for Black folks?
Can I be as honest as I usually am? It gets me in trouble, but I'm going to be honest with you.
This is TPOP. Absolutely.
Okay, I've been working in this area for 12 years. I'm originally from Harlem, USA. I'm a woman of a particular age, and I've been in civil rights and human rights for 45 years of my life. And I have never had the kind of pushback from my own people that I get here in Charlotte, Mecklenburg. It's disturbing. My plan was always to unify us, to build that village, to begin to organize, to have a redistribution of wealth and economic equity, as well as address criminal injustice. But we can't work together. Folks have not been able to humble themselves to say, okay, today is not my day to lead. Today is your day to lead. And until we get to the place where we love ourselves and love Black people, we are not going to get to where we need to get. And so I'm still prayerful, but I believe that while I'm praying, I must do the work. So I'm trying. I am truly trying, because there is an enemy in this country and in this world who hates Black people and have for over 400 years. We better get our act together.
Well, this is a political season, and is there any planned trips that you are aware of? I don't know if you're, can talk about it or not in your capacity as president. Are there any planned trips to the NAACP by any of the Democratic candidates?
They have already, a few have seen me already. I've spoken to Tom Steyer. I've spoken to Bloomberg. Unfortunately, he's no longer in the race. I've spoken with Cory Booker. I have not spoken to Bernie, because when I did go to see Bernie, I was invited to go to see Bernie. Once I got there, they couldn't find my name on the list and had me sitting outside. This was during the summer for about 25 minutes.
The president of the Mecklenburg NAACP, your name was not on the list.
That's correct. It was not just myself. It was also Grace Galloway, the president of the Asian Pacific of North Carolina. We both were sitting outside, the two people of color. And I told her, I'm not sitting here. So I left. So I have not met with presidential candidate Bernie Sanders as of yet. I have not met with Pete Buttigieg or Elizabeth Warren as of yet. But I am the kind of person that believes that I'm simply a conduit for the people. And so I think it's important that folks running for office should sit down in a room with many leaders of the community so they can get different perspectives and figure out what it is that we're looking to do as a cohesive group. What I see quite often, not only in North Carolina, but in many states, is the same old status quo. Presidential candidates are going to the same groups of people that I call Negroes. That's my curse word, Negroes. Folks who have sold us out, who are willing to take $1 on the backs of Black people. And because of what's happening in this country right now, we can't tolerate that anymore. It's our responsibility to make sure that people who come before us, will ask for our vote, will ask for our support, are truly going to do what's right in our own communities. And I don't know if there's a presidential candidate running in a Democratic Party that's going to do that. Bottom line is, we know what's in the White House that has to go, right? So we have to figure out who we're going to support.
So, do you have a particular candidate that you favor over others?
I really like Tom Steyer. And the reason why I like Tom Steyer is because he spent millions of dollars of his own money in the Black community, in the HBCUs, millions of dollars. And so somebody like that has already proven to me they're willing to do what's right. When you spend your own money, I know that you're sincere about what you're doing. Unfortunately, his numbers are not up to par. He's less than double digits, which means he probably won't be on the debate stage again. And I'm not sure he can even make it to the place in which he can be viable to be the presidential candidate. I would pray that he could, because I think he's a good and decent human being. But we're in a political abyss. The media seems to be pushing certain candidates. The narrative is not something that's positive for Black people, although they need the Black vote to win. And we've been played for centuries. We've been played, well, for us, 60 years, we've been played in terms of the voting process. They come into our community, they make promises, they throw a few dollars and they leave. We need real strategic plans, real policies put in place that is going to change the trajectory of the Black life. That's not happening right now. And I'm not trusting that it will happen.
Well, let's bear down on Charlotte. The mayor of Vi Lyles have what's your relationship like with her?
We don't have a relationship. We used to.
What?
But when I began to criticize her for bringing the RNC into Charlotte and endangering Black and brown lives, she began to undermine me. So we don't have a relationship.
Wow. She did something very controversial, and I've been pissed about it ever since I've heard about it. I'm pretty sure you're aware of the Major League Soccer has just gained access to Charlotte, and it's my understanding that she gave them $110 million from the city to make that happen, to bring that soccer team into Charlotte. Now, that's funny to me, because every weekend I'm out with my wife and we're feeding and giving blankets to people who are sleeping in tents all along the outskirts of the city of Charlotte. What's your take on a money move like that, especially when I think we have close to 3,600 homeless people in the city of Charlotte right now? What's your take on this whole, this big money thing to this billion, trillion, maybe trillion of dollar industry to get them here while we have people sleeping on the ground right here in the city?
My take is that not only the mayor, but the city council's priorities is not people of color. Specifically, it's not for Black people. It's not for poor people, but it is for big business and corporations. It is for multimillionaires. I'm going to go a step further from what you stated. If you can give a millionaire $50 million, to build a soccer stadium. Soccer, a sport that Black people are not known for. But you can't spend that same money and same energy in building affordable and low-income housing. Your priorities are not for people. Your priority is for business. Now, I may not have been so disgusted with those decisions if these individuals did not come specifically into the Black community, making promises to the Black people that they were going to do certain things that have not been done yet. In Charlotte, we need at least 36,000 units to overcome the homelessness in this city. That's not happening. In this city, Black communities that were viable communities have been displaced and torn down, going back as far as Brooklyn Village. Recently at Lake Arbor, those families were traumatized once again, pushed out of their homes with no real decision-making as to where they were going to go. As far as recently as 2 weeks ago, there was an opportunity for folks to get housing in one development that had been finalized. And they only had like 30 apartments, but they took almost 2,000 applications. And each applicant had to pay $25 fees for the application. We're talking about poor people. Poor people have to make a decision on whether they're going to spend the $25 for an application to get a housing opportunity, or possibly buy food, or pay for gas, or whatever, because you are on a budget. And these are the kinds of things that to me are inhumane, and definitely moves me to believe that these city council folks do not care about people of color. So I'm asking Black people who are within the sound of my voice, please stop taking these caucuses, photographs of individuals that they have endorsed, and do your own research. If people are in office right now and have been in office for 4, 6, 8 years, and your community is not doing well, stop voting for them. Right now, we're in the middle of our election season. This is the first day of early voting. We're voting for county commissioners, for judges, for senators, state representatives, as well as the lieutenant governor and the governor. The county commissioners have the responsibility over all services. That's DSS, healthcare, and the educational system. An educational system that has been brutal to Black children. Our children have been sent through the school to prison pipeline. Our children are suspended 8 to 10 days at a time, expelled from school. Our children are not getting the equal education and equitable education. And we keep putting the same knuckleheads in position to harm us some more. It needs to stop. Sadly enough, my mantra now is all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Because we have a tendency to vote for people simply because they're Black. And in Charlotte, we have more Black people in leadership than anywhere. And look what's happening to Black people in the community. There is one county commissioner who happens to be a white woman, Pat Cotham, who's out in the streets on a regular basis, trying to help the homeless like you, sir. Out in the streets, helping people who need the help, going to court with folks who are about to be evicted, stopping evictions. She has been a true leader in this city. That is the county commissioner that I am going to support. And I'm asking everybody else, please support Pat Cotham, because the same people I'm talking about who's harming us are trying to remove her from the county commissioners. There is a real strategic plan to move Black people out of the inner city or the center city of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area. They don't want us here. Racism is rising, or maybe I should say this, racism is being blatantly exposed because it was always there. It's no longer under the surface, it's out in the open now because of the rhetoric and hate mongering from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. I'm asking all Black folks, if you're not part of N.A.A.C.P, join. I'm not the regular Negro. I am an activist. I love Black people. I love my Blackness, and I believe that if we come together, nobody can stop us. That is what I believe. I truly believe there are people that God has called to do this work. It's not for everybody. But if you believe that God has called you to do any part of the work, whether it's in the educational system, the criminal justice system, whether it's in housing or it's in climate reality, because even in the environmental sector, there is environmental racism. Black people are the most harmed. Okay? We have to look at everything that's happening to us, and we have to save ourselves. No one will save us. We have to save ourselves.
Well, I've always tried to get folks, and everyone who follows this platform, whether it be on the radio or on stream and YouTube, they know that I always talk about local politics, local politics, because a lot of the Trump does, you may or may not feel it this year, but is local politics, you can feel it tomorrow. And I think it's hard to get people involved with those major politics when we can't even get them to get involved with the local, politics like county commission, stuff like that. It's hard for us to get them in there for those midterm things of that nature. So, I mean, how do that? How do we get folks to take this stuff seriously? Because it's to be honest, I don't think it's that hard to get someone to go out every 4 years and vote for president or whoever. But there's votes going on all throughout between those two presidential cycles. There's all kinds of elections going on. How we get people to get out there and not only know that they're going on, but get off their couches and get down to those polls? How do we do that?
I think we have to go back to the old way of organizing, having house meetings in folks' homes, because people have become so comfortable because of social media. But we're willing to come to your area and have those conversations. I think it's important that we begin to have those dialogues and be honest with one another, and then ask ourselves, what am I willing to do? Because we're all going to commit to the work differently. All I'm asking folks to do is commit in some way. As you said, local politics is important. I say all local politics affects all people. That's what I say. And it does affect you directly. And so I think there needs to be an opportunity for an educational process and informational process so that people are even aware of what these responsibilities of politicians are, that they are aware of their rights. We're going to be doing some Know Your Rights forums. We have some litigation about to happen, so look for that. But the most important thing is that we are our brother's keepers, and our children are hurting. In Charlotte, we had 108 murders last year.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, but go ahead.
108 murders due to gun violence, and many of those folks who took a gun and took a life were between the ages of 14 and 25. Our Black youth. And so we have to find a way to reach them. I believe in the concept of each one teach one, but I also believe that it's important that we have some surrogate fathers for some of these young Black boys. Some of these boys don't know their father, have never been fathered. So some Black men are going to have to step up and go beyond mentoring, but be a surrogate dad to these young boys. And we have to teach them conflict resolution, how to interact with one another in love. But it first starts with loving yourself. If you don't love yourself, then you definitely don't love somebody who looks like you.
So I remember you having something called a no harm zone. Is that what it was? The no harm-free zone.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still in play? Is that harm-free zone still in play down here?
It's not. As I stated, or maybe I didn't state it, I gave several comprehensive programs to the mayor and city council. Harm-free zone was one of them. Another one was police accountability. They had a comprehensive program on what we've done all over the country to safeguard people when police come into our neighborhoods. We also gave them a program on stopping gun violence. They refused to take any of the programs because, quite frankly, They're petty betties. I'm going to criticize you when you're hurting Black people. That is my responsibility as an advocate. It's not personal for me. I'm not talking about how you look personally. I'm not talking about you personally or your family personally. I'm talking about the decisions that you're making that directly affect Black people. As the president of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg N.A.A.C.P, or as Corinne Mack, as a woman of God, I'm going to criticize you if you're hurting Black people. And I would think that you would be thick-skinned enough to take a criticism, look at yourself, and try to change something that has been harmful. But instead, people have, dug their heels in and told people all around me, funders and everybody, don't talk to me. This is what's going on. Don't work with me. Don't work with the NAACP. These are Black people saying it's about a Black woman to white men. That's what I'm dealing with in this city every single day. On top of that, people that I have helped, I'm talking about help, the entire family, have tried to drag my name, just tell all kinds of lies about me. And it's only because of my faith in God that I continue to walk in love and say, you know what? I'm going to forgive them and move on. Because the picture is much bigger than my personal feelings, my hurt feelings. It's about the people that God has me serving. But that's how ugly the spirit of envy and jealousy is in this city. What I say is that the spirit of jealousy and envy is so strong that it suffocates us. We've got to find a way to change. And I said we, because I believe that all of us have some area of our lives that's broken that needs to be healed. But I love us so much, I think that we can do anything if we put our minds to it. And I won't give up on that.
Oh, are you prepared to be pandered to? Because, like I said earlier, this is a political season. So are you getting yourself prepared to be pandered to by these politicians who wish to have you, sway Black folks or kind of nudge Black folks into their direction? Are you prepared for that?
There's no pandering here. Keep it moving. Let me tell you something. When Hillary Clinton ran for president, she came to Charlotte and she wanted to meet with us, and I met with her. And when we sat down, the first thing I said to her is, I cannot support you. And I'm going to tell you why I can't support you. Because your husband and you and your entire administration did the most harm to Black communities. And it's been a 20-year harm, or almost 20-year harm, through your 3 Strikes You're Out program. She began to tear up and said that she realized the harm that had been done and she wanted to change that. I said, I hear you, but everybody says that to us. At the end of the day, the only reason you can get a vote for me is because I could not vote for Trump. But I wanted to let her know I was not going to go out and speak to anyone about, supporting her. I was not going to be helpful. The bottom line is that we're nonpartisan anyway. We don't endorse anyone. But as an individual, I'm not going to endorse someone that has a record that was that harmful to the Black community. And, a person can apologize. Those are words. What I need to see is action, which means if you're a multimillionaire or billionaire, there should be some type of funding going directly into uplifting Black people. The only way Black people can even begin to be in a place of sovereignty is that there is intentional monies put into our community. Remember, we've never had reparations. No one's ever publicly apologized to us and said, what we're going to give you to, what we're going to give you to ensure that your family now is provided for. Those are the kinds of things that has not happened to the Black people. Every other race has had reparations, but we have not.
Do you think that reparations are possible? Do you personally, Reverend Mack, do you see reparations over the horizon?
I'm here.
No, I was saying, do you see reparations over the horizon for Black folks? Do you see that in Black folks' future, reparations?
I think I lost you again.
Ouch. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Okay. I'm doing an interview.
Can you hear me? You might have to go out. You might have to go out and come back in. You might have to go out and come back in. You can't hear me? Can't hear? No? You might have to go out. You might have to go out and come back in. I'll do this. I'll drop you off. I don't know if you can hear me. And come back in. Go ahead. All right. I'm going to bring the ladies in. And we got Lady Ruby too. What's good, Lady Ruby? What do you ladies think? And do you have any questions for Reverend Mac? You ladies got any questions for her?
The questions were getting good. I hate she had that difficulty right there.
Okay, she's back. Let me see if she's back. Reverend Mac?
I'm back.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but now you can't
Okay,
hear me again.
good,
I don't know
good,
what's
good,
going
good.
on. Okay,
I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you now.
great.
I can hear you. Well, I brought the ladies up, and I don't know for you if you ladies have any questions, because I don't know how long we have you for, Mac. I don't know how much time you have.
I have another
So I want to
15
go ahead
minutes.
and let the ladies get some questions in if they.
Okay.
Okay. You ladies have any questions for? Yeah. Yes.
I
No.
didn't have a question, Brother X, but the
Anybody?
question that you can you not hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you as well.
I can hear you.
Oh,
I
Oh,
can hear
okay.
you.
The question that you asked before she had her difficulty was an excellent one.
What was the question? I didn't hear it. I'm
If
sorry.
she, brother, can you pose it again?
Oh, before you start to cut, before you started to cut out, I was asking, do you see reparations over the horizons for Black folks? Do you see that?
I do. I do see it.
Are you
I do see
part
it.
of the machine that's pushing? Are you part of the machine that's pushing reparations?
I am.
And what do you think those reparations should consist of?
It consists of land, of course, which is the quickest way to accumulate wealth. It includes free education, and it includes a certain amount of financial backing, and that hasn't been determined yet. What we're looking at is the number of people who are going to be available and accepted into a reparations program, because we're talking about those who are descendants of slaves. That was the whole concept of reparations. What we have in the United States is a melting pot. So we have Black people who originated in other countries. They did not originate here. And we've been having some conversation about what does that look like, because the United States is not the only country that, of course, had slavery. And some folks may have been enslaved from the Caribbean and brought into this country, or other parts of the country. And we haven't figured out how we're going to look at reparations to do a kind of scale of how much people are entitled to. What we do know is that the 7 years after emancipation, there were many Black people who had land, who were farm owners, landowners and doing quite well. But racist white men and women killed many of those families, took their lands for themselves. Case in point, Mr. Crawford was the wealthiest man in his city of Abbeville, South Carolina. And he went to take his cotton to the store, and the store owner tried to cheat him out of his money. So he refused. They got into a tussle, and Mr. Crawford got the better of the white man. Well, unfortunately, a mob came together and they killed him. They killed him and then ran his family off the land and took that land. 4 years ago, we were out in South Carolina, Abbeville, South Carolina, working with that family, distant cousins, second, third, fourth, and fifth generation cousins to try to get that land back for them. Those are the kind of things that must happen. It must happen. We start there with Black families who we know had land stolen, so that these families can have the accumulated wealth that they deserve. And then we look at other families after that.
So I want to jump back to Charlotte because I want to get to this before, because I know you're a busy lady and I want to get to this stuff before you take off. I mean, we have a problem with poverty all over this country, but I don't live all over this country. I live in Mecklenburg County. In Mecklenburg County, poverty is a problem. And I'm a true believer, and the statistics show that one of the greatest barriers to getting out of poverty is having a multitude of children. So what is being done by the N.A.A.C.P to, I don't want to say stop people from having children, but what's being done by the N.A.A.C.P to kind of fight this thing of single motherhood and not just single motherhood, but we have one of the biggest numbers of infant mortality in North Carolina. I mean, what's being done to confront these things by the N.A.A.C.P?
To be frank with you, we have not addressed women having multiple children at all. We have addressed the right for a woman to her own body. That's all we've ever addressed. We have also had a program that we call Mothers Mentoring Mothers to help mothers interact with their children who they feel they're out of control. But that's about it. We have not gone as far as talking to a woman about how many children she decides to have, whether she's a single mother or not. We know that there is a problem, but that problem goes well beyond a woman having children. There is a systemic problem that has given Black people the impression that it's okay for those who are to continue to get government assistance. We believe that the government is supposed to assist to some extent, but we also believe that all of us have worth and all of us have a gift, and we should use those gifts to elevate ourselves and our families. And so I would like to do something that would help women who probably are single mothers for the most part, who are impoverished, to come out of that situation, loving themselves, feeling encouraged to move on with their life in either their own business or a good job. And when I say a good job, what's important for us to have in Charlotte is to have jobs to have a living wage. That folks are not being paid $7.25 an hour or a minimum wage, but they are making enough money to have a good quality of life.
So do you believe that more should be done to assist people who are in poverty, as far as assisting them, but should something be done pre-poverty, like better training, parenting classes, life classes even? I mean, or should it be a combination of all of those things?
I think that poverty is a generational curse. And so I think it's important, in order to break that curse, we have to start with the youth in those families, teaching them not only, as I said before, self-love, but cultural understanding, financial literacy, as well as giving them hope. Because most people who live in poverty have become hopeless. And so we have a responsibility to teach them hope. What we did 2 summers ago is we began a program through our U2U, which is now, it used to be called From Uprising to Uplifting. It was founded in 2016 during the Keith Lamont Scott killing. We now call it Uniting to Uplift. And what we want to do is continue to teach people who we truly are historically, because the education system has taken all of our history out of the books. They do not teach our Black children about Black history. That's going to be on us. It's our responsibility to teach our children about our history. It's a rich, beautiful history, and they need to know it. When they see themselves as kings and queens and inventors and lawyers and doctors and all the things that we have become in this country, you begin to see yourself in a very different way. Unfortunately, most people who are impoverished usually live within a 4-block radius. That's all they know. So we have to allow our young people to leave those 4 blocks and see something outside of those areas and realize that the world is much bigger and the opportunity is much greater.
So once again, I mean, it is a political season. So you don't have anyone particularly like penciled in to come down and see you or visit or, pander to the NAACP. You have no one pinned in, right? There's no one particular that says, okay, Reverend Mac, I'm coming such and such day. Okay.
No.
Will you be entertaining any offers that do? Will you be entertaining any of those offers?
As I said, if someone wants to come speak to me, they will be speaking to a group of us, because I can't be bought, number one. Number two, I think the conversation is much bigger than myself. And so I'm very clear about the fact that they need to have many voices in the room, not just mine.
Is there any chance that the old TPOT network can get up in there with their camera equipment if you do decide to entertain one of those offers?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So will you be keeping us posted on, whether it be Steyer or Buttigieg or Sanders or anybody? Will you be keeping? Well, I have your information, so please feel free to let us know, because when they come down there to pander, I want to be there.
Well,
Go ahead.
Now that I have your information, at least have your email to get back to you, I will send you all the information in terms of what I get around the political arena, whether it's the presidential candidate or the governor, whomever. I'll let you know about it.
Absolutely. Can I ask a question? And I would appreciate it. Oh, absolutely. Go right ahead.
Hi. I am in Ontario, Canada. I'm wondering what the best way, I guess basically, we're not there. We're not in America. So what's the best way that we can help support the fight of our brothers and sisters in America?
I think the fight needs funding. And I don't know where you would send the funding to, because we're not ready for that. But I also think that even though you're in Canada, if we have video chats and we're all part of one strategy that can be rolled out all over the world, that's powerful. I think it starts with us beginning to connect with one another, building trust, because there's no way we can pull our dollars together if we don't trust one another. Nobody's going to give their money to somebody they don't trust, right? So we have to begin to build trust so that we can have a unique movement. That's what I like to build, a movement. And the movement's foundation would be love.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, I know you got to go, Madam President.
I do.
I'm hoping to hear from you soon, because like I said, I would love to come down. I would love to come down and, do some taping, whenever you're down there and you have any, or come down there. It doesn't even have to be a political thing. I mean, I would love to come down there and bring all the equipment and maybe do a one-on-one interview with you in person, because I'm in your area. I'm here. So, I mean, it's nothing for me to drive on down there and maybe do a one-on-one with you, something more in depth, and others involved
Okay.
in the other members of the NAACP as well. So, I mean, we need to keep in contact with each other, because I'm in your jurisdiction. So, I mean, whatever's going on, I'm interested in it, because I am here. I'm in Charlotte. So, and I've been here for some years. I've been here since 2014. So, I mean, I am interested in what's going on in this city, and especially what's going on with Black folks. Because like I told you earlier, I mean, every Saturday I'm out there. I see these people. I see how these people suffer. I see what they're going through. And my wife and I, we do what we can, but we only two people. It's just us, and I'm not complaining, because we live a fortunate life where we actually can help. And I mean, I want to see something change. I mean, it kills me to see people living on the ground. I mean, living in tents and in the rain and they in the woods and all this kind of stuff. And something need to be done, especially if this city can give $110 million to a soccer league. Why are those people still on the ground? That's my question. Why are those people still living on the ground? But I thank you for coming out, Madam President. It was nice talking to you. We will be in touch. We will be in touch.
Thank you so much, and God bless each and every one of you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, Madam
God
President.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you for coming on.
Good night.
All right.
It's a great honor. Thank you.
Yeah, everybody. That was the Reverend Corinne Mack, President of the North Carolina Mecklenburg chapter of the N.A.A.C.P. I'm going to go ahead and bring the ladies back in. So, what do you ladies think of Madam President? Be honest.
I think she's very, I like this about her actually, is that she's very strong and decisive in her mind. That is to say that, there was no pausing or umming or humming, you know what I mean? Like, she knew exactly the answer that she needed to give, and it wasn't looking for validation or understanding from you. She's just letting you know what it is, because, she spent all of her time and resources on knowing the answer to that question. So, she conveyed that strength, and I like that.
Lady Danielle, Lady Aisatta.
I echo Ruby's classic Ruby sentiments. I was kind of wondering what her thoughts were on some of the Republican candidates, and she says that they're bipartisan. So I thought she was pretty good.
It was refreshing to hear her commentary, because in the past, all of the information that I've heard of about the NAACP has been not very favorable. But she came from a different direction, in my opinion. So it was refreshing to hear her.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because I was gonna come at her from a totally different angle that I came at her, but I had well let me say this, because before she came, well, actually, in all honesty, let me do some backstory for y'all. About 2 weeks ago, we had arranged for her to come on. She was actually supposed to come on last Thursday, right? She was supposed to come on last Thursday, but we had a little bit of a storm out here, and I don't know, maybe 20 minutes or so, 20, 30 minutes or so, I got her PR people got in contact with me and said, "Oh, X, you know, she's not going to be able to come. It's the weather. It's a hurricane. It's all kind of stuff going on." So that just went down like 20 minutes. I was all set up and everything for her to come on. So they decided to get back in contact with me at the top of the week. And they said, "Well, you know, we apologize, Xavier, you know, blah, blah, blah. Can she come back on?" That's why I didn't tell anybody. I didn't put her name in the title or anything like that. Notice I got it listed as a surprise guest, just in case, because I know a lot of people last week came in just to see her, you know, just to see her. So I didn't want to get, you know, I just wanted to be prepared for whatever the hell happened. But with that being said, when I knew she was supposed to come on last week, I did some research on her, looked at some old videos, you know, watched some old footage and all that kind of stuff, because that's what I do when these kind of folks come on. And she's changed up. She's changed a bit. She's changed a little bit. Because I was prepared for her to come on a totally different way. I was prepared for her to come on a totally different way. Now, don't get me wrong. Some of the stuff she said, of course, I absolutely disagree with. But she did have some valid talking points. She's not. What bothered me more than anything is that, you know, she said that she doesn't have a relationship with the mayor here, and that's troubling because the mayor's a black lady too. And she said here in front of all of you that the mayor of this city has undermined her efforts to try to help black folks, which is crazy to me because I stay up on this shit and I watch this mayor and I see the stuff she did. Like I said earlier, she just gave $110 million to the damn Major League Soccer. So they'll have a soccer team here. So we can have a damn soccer team like Charlotte really needs a soccer team. Right. And like I said, with people sleeping on the ground, y'all, I'm sleeping on the ground, literally in tents on the ground. I mean, I think that money could have been much better spent, even if you would have took a quarter of that. Okay, a quarter of that, you know, and help those folks, as opposed to bringing some goddamn soccer team here that we don't need. I mean, we got a major league basketball, we got a major league football team here. There's an NFL team here and an NBA team here. Okay, both of those stadiums are in walking distance of each other. I know, I live here. So I just don't see the sense of bringing in a soccer team when this city is in, you know, there's parts of this city that's in such turmoil. Like, you know, there's so much shit going on in this city that needs to be addressed. And I don't think having a soccer team is one of them, but that's just me.
See,
go ahead.
I was going to say, well, maybe, you know, the soccer team should be able to generate more jobs and income. And then when you just mentioned the basketball teams and what other professional, y'all have a football team there as well, right?
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers are here, and you got the Charlotte Hornets. We got an NBA team here and a NFL team here, and the stadiums are within walking distance of each other.
Yeah, so that kind of takes away my point for the generating wealth, because I was like, well, maybe it'll generate some more money and more jobs for the city, you know, and it'd be worth the investment. But yeah.
Well, one thing people don't know about Charlotte is a banking town. I mean, Charlotte has banking headquarters in this town. All right, you got Bank of America is here. Chase has a headquarters here. Wells Fargo has a headquarters here. So this is a banking town. All right. The football stadium is called the Bank of America Stadium. So that lets you know what kind of money goes into this town. This town is full of construction. You can't drive 2 miles without seeing a bridge being built, a highway being built, a skyscraper being built, homes being built. I mean, you cannot drive 2 miles without seeing some of that. And anybody that's in this city knows that. So there's no shortage of money in this city. I know, because the people who do those jobs, I service their equipment. The fact that these people work good keep X working good. because I work on the equipment. All right. I work for contractors. I work for commercial landscapers. I work for plumbers, roofers, all that kind of stuff. I'm the one who keep their goddamn machinery going. All right. So there is no shortage of money here. There is no shortage of opportunities here. What I think there is a shortage of, though, there's a shortage of housing. Okay. There is a shortage of housing. The homeless population here is crazy. Okay. The demand way outseeds the supply. Okay. It definitely has the supply dwarfed. That's why you have such a great number of homeless people here, and it's a problem. It's a problem. That's one of the major problems in this city. And I talked to the Madam President about it. This homeless problem here is crazy. I mean, the homeless are everywhere. They like the Walking Dead. They're everywhere. You gotta kind of avoid them. You have to avoid them. And you would think that with so much construction, with so much opportunities for jobs and work, and so much money in this town, you would think that there would be more people with jobs. More people with jobs mean more people with money. More people with money means less people living in these tents that I see every week. And it strikes me as odd that the city itself isn't doing more. They're just kind of letting it go. They're kind of letting it go. They don't care about these people. I read in the paper today that, they're actually planning on, they're trying to figure out what to do with the homeless people, because they plan on having the Republican National Convention is going to be here. It's going to be in Charlotte, downtown Charlotte, and outside of the city, you got droves of homeless people are there. So they're trying to figure out what to do with all the homeless people. And I already know what they're going to do with those people. They're going to drag them out of there, bulldoze all their shit into a pile and truck it out of there. That's what they're going to end up doing. And what that's going to do is force these people into other parts of the city. And you force these people into other parts of the city. And what happens? What happens? You cause problems in other parts of the city because you've uprooted these homeless people, bulldoze their shit, move them out of there, and now they're going to find somewhere else to go. And when you got a bunch of homeless people, because you don't get too much poorer than homeless. Okay, there's poor people who living in poverty, and the next level down from that is homeless living in a tent in the woods. So now you got these destitute, impoverished people who you more than likely done pushed out, and they're going to be heading to areas that aren't the most affluent areas anyway. Okay, so now what happens? You got these homeless people moving outside and living outside in the woods around other poor people. So you're asking for more crime, you're asking for more killings, you're asking for more or shootings, you're asking for it's a recipe for disaster. I think it's a recipe for disaster. That's what's going to end up happening. You move these people out of there, and where are they going to go? Because they're not going to go to the more upscale areas. Okay, they're not going to Ballantyne and Mint Hill and all that. No, they're going right further, because outside the city of Charlotte aren't the highest socioeconomical freaking areas to begin with. They're not. Anybody that's been here or lives here knows that. Like right outside the city, I mean, take it from me. It's not the greatest. It's not the highest on the socioeconomic ladder to begin with. So when you take these homeless people and you push them in that area, it's just a recipe for disaster, because you're gonna have more problems, more crime, more shootings, more robberies, more this, more that. Crime's gonna go up after that. It's not gonna go down, because you just took people who are more destitute than these people that they're moving to. You're taking people who are very, very destitute and moving them forcing them to find themselves somewhere where people are destitute. So now you got more problems. That's all. You're just going to create more fucking problems, and you're going to have more crime in the city. I mean, this city already has a crime problem. It does. I mean, a city like this city is about 303 square miles across. All right. More than 100 people were killed here last year. More than 100 people were killed in a city that's 300 square miles. That is just crazy on its face. This is slowly becoming one of the most dangerous cities in America. That's just the truth. And when you got politicians who don't give a shit about it, it just goes downhill, man. It never gets better. It doesn't. It just never gets better. I asked her about the single mother problem and poverty, and she didn't flinch. I expected her to flinch, especially when I started talking about the baby mamas. I expected her to flinch. She didn't know. She didn't flinch. She rolled right into the question. I think that she understands that these things are problematic for Black folks. I think that these things create a lot of problems for Black folks. And I think she kind of understands that too. I mean, like I said, a lot of her points I disagreed with, but some of her points I did agree with. And I'm going to take her up on that offer, because I'm going to be down at that N.A.A.C.P hall. And she mess around and call me or email me, I will be down there at all my camera shit and taping and putting it up here on YouTube for you good folks to see what I'm seeing. But let me ask you ladies this. If you were in her position, president of this here organization, what would you be trying to do as far as Black people are concerned? What would you be trying to do?
I would be trying to push those reparations. Cut the check. I think that Black people are more than deserving of the money and the land and the education. I actually liked her ideas about the land and the education, because I would definitely push for resources like land. But I would absolutely push for reparations for Black people. And yeah.
Lady Aisatta, Lady Ruby.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Lady Danielle.
I have to get up and go to work in the morning.
Okay, that's fine.
So
That's
sorry,
fine.
but this was really an honor. I really, really, really appreciate you for inviting me on. This is really huge for me. So thank you so much for considering me.
Absolutely. And all you folks, get on down there and check out Lady Danielle on her channel. She has a channel down there with concrete rolls. What is it, from a woman's
It's the
perspective?
breakdown a woman's perspective.
Yes, get on down there and check it out. I was down there, and they was actually talking about some good shit. I was kind of surprised, because I don't really fuck with the woman channels too much, because they be talking some crazy shit. But I was actually surprised. I said, let me go down here and see what's going on. I'm being honest. I mean, that's me. I mean, I don't really mess with the females channels too much. But I did go down there, and I was down there for a few moments, and they was talking some pretty good stuff, man. So y'all might want to get on down there and check it out if you have time. I'm just saying. All right, but I appreciate you, Lady Danielle, for coming through. I do.
Thank you so much.
Can you post your channel inside the chat before you go, please?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead and put your channel in the chat so people know where to find you. And any of y'all who possibly may know Lady Danielle's channel, go right ahead and put that up there, just in case folks want to stop on down in and check it out.
Okay. Well, you all have a good night, and ladies, it was great to see you guys.
Yeah, you too. Good night, sis.
All right, y'all have a good night. Thank you.
Peace, Lady Danielle. Put your stuff in the chat.
I will.
Yeah. So let me ask you, ladies. What would you do, Lady Ruby, if you had her power? Because she's the president of this organization. That means she has a degree of power. What would you do with that power?
I agree with Sister George in this one. For me, I believe, and this is just me, so take it with a grain of salt. that fighting for a reparations check, as in money, and letting that be the sole focus, is going to be one of those things that is drawn out for so long, while everyone waits in dire need of things. So I would be pushing for policy changes that are basically paying back everybody, but in increments at a time. So for example, here in Canada, the Native Americans, they don't pay taxes, for example. That would be something that right off the bat, hey, you would be able to get a card if you trace your lineage and your ADOS. You'd be able to get a card, and you don't pay taxes. Period. Your education up to and including your graduate studies would be 100% free, because when they've looked at the studies, the reason why we are at an economic disadvantage, even those who have an education, has to do with all of those years that were taken from us, that weren't taken from them, where their families and their surrounding people were able to build up their own lives and resources and wealth. So in and of itself, when they're coming out of college, and a black man is coming out of college at the same time, even though you have the same education level, with looking at 10 years later, hey, why is the black man doing so much less well? Well, it has to do with the fact that the white man had all of these wealthy resources around him and family. So that would be number one goal there too. That would be a policy I think we should definitely be fighting for. So I'd be looking at things like that and pushing us to fight for those things. That's not to say, oh, well, just throw away the idea of monetary reparations, but looking at reparations as an incremental fight that we can get some stuff instituted right now while the bigger fights continue.
Lady Aisatta.
Well, seeing that Black people are basically dealing with, like you said, in your city, homelessness is an issue, and also poverty. Reparations can be fought for, but like Sister Ruby was saying, that's a long, drawn out issue. So to handle immediate situations, I would push education and job readiness. Because if you're homeless, you're not thinking about waiting on reparations. You want a job so you can amass some money and get off the street. And if you, depending on what type of job you're looking for, you may need some job readiness skills, some type of education or some type of training to obtain a certain job. So when we're looking at homelessness and poverty, I think that's one of the first things we need to start instituting, in Black communities, because sometimes with people, life happens, and some dire things can happen in that time. So yeah, our people need job readiness skills and education to help alleviate homelessness and poverty.
Absolutely, I agree. Um, I mean, maybe I'm kind of biased because I live here, and I probably came off as really biased when I was talking to the president of the organization, because I see it, firsthand. I talk to these people, man. I talked about it with the brothers the other night, man. I talk to these people, man. I see these people. I see the conditions that these people live under, man. I mean, I'm out there. I see them. I talk to them, and the stories I hear, man. And sometimes it's crazy. And see, I want the people to keep their dignity, but I just wish that I could, you know, get my cameras out there sometime and just talk to one of those people. And the only reason why I haven't done it is because I don't want to put them on camera. I don't want to have them out there because, like I said, I mean, all a lot of them have is their dignity at this point. But the stories I hear, man, from these people, the things they tell me, how they got in the situation they got into. I was listening to one brother when he was telling me that he had an apartment, and the apartments that he was living in, they were so bad that the city eventually came after the owner of the apartments because there was mold and there was exposed wires and leaky roofs and roach infestations and rodent infestations and all kind of nonsense that The city eventually came after them, came after the apartment owner. And what they did was they went ahead and they wanted everybody out so they can fix the apartments, because it's about, that complex has about 200 apartments in it. So what they did is they wanted everybody out, claiming that, you know, they needed everybody out so, you know, they can fix the apartments and all that kind of stuff. Now, the apartments that they were living in, these were maybe $400 and $500 apartments. Do you know what the average rent in Charlotte is? The median average rent in Charlotte is like $1,300. Okay, that's like the average. Okay, that's the average rent in Charlotte. These people are not going to be able to find another place. He said he tried and tried and tried, and eventually time was up for him to get out, you know, along with the rest of the people, so they can, I guess, you know, refurbish the apartments. And he had nowhere to go, so now he's living out in Tent City. And I mean, and I say tent cities plural. It's not like there's a tent city. There's many tent cities. I didn't even know that. I thought the tent cities that we go to, you know, I thought that was like, you know, the bulk of them. And people around here and people on media, I'm like, no, X, there's like, I don't know how many of them, because the ones we go to, you know, there may be 15, 20 tents, you know, there. Man, they said it's some outside the city where there's 100 tents, where there's 150 tents, where there's 200 tents. And I'm like, what? Really? Yeah. So each one of those people have a story. Now, mind you, we all know that some of those people, the reason why they ass homeless because they own drugs and all kinds of stupid bullshit. But some of them are there because they literally don't have anywhere to go. They had somewhere, they had to leave where they were, and they were paying, you know, I guess subsidized rent or whatever case may be. It was maybe only $400 and $500, and those places are few and far between here. I know. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, if all you can afford is say $500-$600, if you're a person and you live in Charlotte, right? Be prepared to pay at least. Your minimum rent is going to be like $1,000. That's if you want to live in like a quote unquote decent neighborhood where they ain't shooting folks and killing and selling dope and all that. Prepare to pay at least $1,000 at least. If you want something a little more upscale, it's going to be like $1,500. I know. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be more like $1,500-$1,600, and all the way up to maybe $2,000, maybe $2,500. Between $1,500 and $2,500, it's going to cost you to rent a place in Charlotte that's decent. All right, where you know they got clean streets, green lawns, nice malls, and shit like that around. That's what you're looking to pay. Now, if you are living where he was living, you know, in like the middle of the ghetto, in the slums, and come out and see dead bodies laying in the middle of the street, then maybe you can find your apartment for like maybe $600, something like that. You know, I mean, that's what you're looking at in Charlotte, because in Charlotte there's not a valley, I can say, between the have and the have-nots here. You either got people who are doing like bad, and then you got people who are doing good. I mean, there's not a lot in between it, to be honest with you. I mean, that's just the way this city is. I mean, I figured that out relatively quickly. I mean, you got the people who are like doing bad, and then you got the people who are doing good. I mean, there's some, you know, there's a little bit in between that, but not much. And when you have these people who find themselves kicked out due to their circumstances, because housing is so much in demand that even those $500 and $600 apartments, most of them you can't find, because guess what? Other people done hurried up and grabbed them up. You know what I'm saying? Other people have hurried up and grabbed those $600 places up. So now the only things left is the $1,500 apartments, and you cannot afford that. You can't afford it. So where do you end up at? You stay in hotels as long as you have money, but eventually you run out of money. So that last bit of money that you got, you go and buy you a tent and you set it up in Tent City. And that's kind of where we are here. That's where we are in the city, man. That's just the truth. I mean, it's sad, but it's a sad truth. Because like I said, I be out there, man. I talk to these people. I mean, me and my wife, we feed these people, man. I be out there. I'm even out there on days when I don't freaking feel like being out there. Because some days I'll be like, oh God, no. You know, I'm literally getting dragged out there by my wife. That's probably fucked up to say, but you know, so some days I don't want to fuck around out there. You know, I mean, and I tell people this shit all the time. I'm married to like the biggest fucking bleeding heart, man. Like my wife's a bleeding heart because I mean, she started me doing this shit. It's not like it was my idea where I was like, oh, guess what? Let's go to Tent City and give some people some food. Nah, I ain't even gonna sit up here and tell that lie, y'all, because that's not how it happened. It's not. I'm serious, you know. It's not. Yeah, you know, my wife, but she used to do the same shit when we lived in New York. You know, when we lived upstate, she'd go out there, you know, feed motherfuckers in the park and give them gloves and give them socks and, you know, that kind of shit. You know, so I mean, I don't know, man. It's just crazy, you know.
Can I
And
say something?
I've come around to it, I guess. Go ahead, Lady Ruby.
You know, you got used to it now, so
Yeah, it's part of my life.
exactly. No, I wanted to say, and I actually spoke about this in a video on my channel years ago, back when I first started, about why it is that we blame poor people for being poor when we're not poor, right? And there's a psychological concept. Everyone does this thing. It's called the fundamental attribution error. So when we see someone in a situation, we tend to blame it on their character, right? Whether it's good or bad. If someone is in a particular situation, we say that they're there because it has something to do with their character. But if roles are reversed and we're in that situation, we blame everything but our character. It's the environment, it's the system, it's something. We can suddenly see how, you know, I'm not poor because I'm a bad person, I'm a lazy person. I can see how circumstances happened to bring me to that place. But it's a lot harder, and people tend not to make that or give that exact same credit to other people. I mean, even in the chat room right now, we're having this discussion where people are looking at it like, well, you're choosing to be homeless, or well, you put yourself there, or well, why don't you have any gumption? Why don't you, like, they're not understanding that, okay, why are they homeless? There's so many reasons why someone can end up homeless that has nothing to do with them being, you know, a bad character, a lazy person, a shifty person, or whatever. But we don't want to give the homeless that credit. And a lot of that has to do with the fact we never get out there like you've been doing and actually speak to some of them. Figure out, hey, what happened in your life? Why are you here? And, you know, you might be very surprised by the stories that you hear of how people end up there. And then once you get there, it's a cycle. Because how do you apply for a job when you don't have a phone or an address? You know, or like there's just so many things you can't do without a fixed address, without a telephone. And, you know, not everybody has a family support system that's even living, let alone nearby, to be able to help them out, or one that would be willing to do so because of, you know, all the individuality and selfishness we have in society. So it's a much bigger and a lot more complicated problem than people like to admit.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to agree with you, Lady Ruby, because I mean, every since because I used to kind of think that too, like, oh man, they homeless because they want to be homeless, you know, which is kind of a stupid thing to say because I don't think anyone wants to be living outside. I mean, I guess some people may not. I'm not gonna say that. Maybe some people do, but I mean, I don't think anyone really wants to be homeless. And you know, getting out there and talking to the people and stuff like that, you know, it kind of gave me a different perspective on it. You know, you hear their story where, you know, they had a place and, you know, then they lost it and they couldn't afford the rents and so now they living outside, or they living in their car. So everybody's story isn't the same. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm a true believer that a lot of people kind of exasperate a bad situation and make it worse. Yeah, I do believe that. But I mean, I don't think every single person that finds himself homeless it's due to them being irresponsible, because some of those people out there that are homeless and living in tents, guess what? Some of them actually work. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
work. They have jobs at like the supermarket or Best Buy, or something like that. And if you got a job like that, man, you're not going to be able to afford an apartment, man. Not really, because you're not really making anything down here, man. Down here, the minimum wage is like 7.25 or some shit. So I mean, you're not. I couldn't imagine. I couldn't run my household with 7.25, 7.50 an hour. What? How am I have a house? How am I have a house with that money?
Right.
Unless I'm working 35 hours a day. How the hell I'm gonna be able to eat? How I'm gonna pay the rent? How I'm gonna keep the lights on? How I'm gonna have water, gas, all that kind of crap? How am I gonna have that stuff when I'm making 7.50 an hour? So I mean, there's different layers to the thing, man. And like I said, I see homelessness. I see homelessness, in a total different light ever since I've started, talking to these people and being out there. And, because you get out there. When I first started going out there with my wife, I actually wouldn't even freaking go out there. I'm just there because, it is a bunch of people around, and, I do have my Desert Eagle just in case I have to bust a cap in somebody's ass out there. I started off going out there because I didn't want my woman out there by herself. Okay. I didn't want my woman out there by herself. So she going out there and I can't stop her. There's people there hungry, they're cold, and all this kind of stuff. So I'm like, okay, but I'm going down here, and I'm going down here with the heat. I see anything stupid, I'm about to bust a cap in somebody's ass, because I just don't want I don't want my lady out there by herself. That's how I started out. And I said, okay, fine. And she's like, oh, you should come help me, you just serve them. You should, help me feed them and pass stuff out. And at first I was like, no, I don't want to. But eventually I let her convince me. And, and as I start to do it with her, and talk to the folks and, listen to their stories and all that kind of stuff, man, I see the shit differently now. And I don't think everybody that's out there living in tent city is out there, just because they're irresponsible or lazy or stupid. A lot of people that's out there, they have mental conditions. There's a lot of mental stuff going on with some of the folks out there. A lot of them need mental therapy. Their mental health isn't all that great. A lot of them, there's a lot of different stories out there. It is. I mean, of course, some of them out there just straight drug addicts. They living in a tent, but they still smoking crack. Okay, there's some of that now. I ain't gonna sit up here and paint y'all this tear jerking story, because some of them out there, they got tent, they living in a tent, but somehow they can manage to come up with enough money to get crack rocks and shit. But yeah. And there's just some women out there, they living in a tent, but they still got a wig. They still able to afford a wig. All that's going on out there too now. I don't want to sugarcoat it too much for you.
Well, addiction is a mental illness. Have you ever seen this show Intervention?
Yep.
Right. So many of those intervention people who are living on the streets now and doing unmentionable things for the next rock are people, some of the doctors, lawyers, they were very successful people. They owned houses and whatever. And, they just came across that one drug that ruined their lives. That was it. And they didn't expect themselves to suddenly become addicted because they had tried so many other drugs before. Yeah, is that foolish or silly of them? Of course. But, again, now they've lost everything. They're homeless and they're making these choices. They didn't start there, though. They weren't always there. And, could they get out of homelessness? Well, I mean, yeah, they probably have, a lot of them have family, but family can't take them off the street because they're gonna steal everything that's not nailed down in your house to get another rock, right? Because they're sick. And that's where having, treatment for people who have addiction, not criminalization, but treatment, real help and support systems for them is going to come in, and be such a powerful thing, especially in communities that were hit hard, with drugs and cycles, really generational drug use, generational addiction. That's drug use is actually something that can attach to your genetics on your epigenome, and you can pass down a propensity to be more likely to get addicted to your children. So, I mean, these are all things that, are now beyond that kid's control, who now is being born and raised inside of this environment. Like, we don't want to think about all of this stuff. I mean, are there people that we can definitely blame for their own misery? Absolutely. And that we should blame, or that want to be homeless and are trying to rip off the system. These things all exist, but they're not the majority. We need to stop treating it like it's the majority.
You're right. You're exactly right. I mean, most of the people that I do happen to talk to, most of them actually are trying. They don't want to be there. They're not on drugs. They're not alcoholics or crazy, or a lot of them are not. Most of them, the bulk of them are not. I mean, of course, you got the few drug addicts and the drunks and the lazy motherfuckers who don't want to get a job and all that kind of stuff. But that's the minority. That's a small swath of the people that I've ran into. And like I said, I haven't been to all of the tent cities. I've only been to some of them because I had no idea it was so many of them. I had no idea. But the people that I talked to, the rank and file, they want to get out of that shit. They looking for jobs. They buying the newspapers and going to try to fill out applications and doing shit like that. So not everybody out there wants to be there. That's a small percentage of people who actually want to be there, or they own drugs, or they got mental conditions. That's a very small amount of the people. I can say that from what I've seen. Okay, I can only speak anecdotally from what I've seen. That is a very small part of that population in those 10 cities. But let me ask you, a lady Aisatta, do you think that, because I know the last time we spoke about the principles of the nation, right? And how they would have an effect, on Black people and how Black people live and things of that nature. Do you think that things like poverty and homelessness would be affected if some of those principles were kind of injected into the mainstream of Black society? If those principles were, let's say they were injected into Black society, the mainstream of Black society, say 20 years ago, would that have had an effect on the homelessness, the poverty, the baby mamas, all that kind of stuff? What do you think?
Oh my goodness, definitely. Definitely it would. Because if you look at the structure of the nation, I know when people hear me talk, they're probably thinking, "Oh, I'm so sick of her saying that." But the Nation of Islam adheres to a religion. But if you take the religion out of it, it's the structure of it that becomes your lifestyle, is what's so life changing. So the tenets of the nation, basically, no drinking, no smoking. If you're an able-bodied man, you must have employment. Sisters cannot come in. If you're a sister in the nation, you cannot surface at the mosque pregnant if you do not have a husband. That's an issue. Now, I know if it happens, somebody will talk to you. At the mosque that I attend, there is a sister who did that. So she had her conversation, and so it was decided, okay, she needs more than one conversation. So it became like a class for her where certain things were spoke about, and they said, okay, well, what can you try to alleviate that? But when sister came back with a second pregnancy, some the captains had to say, no, ma'am, we cannot continue to do this because the sisters, when we're in the mosque, sisters, we're mothers, we're aunties, we have certain positions in the mosque. So the younger sisters are looking at us. Those are the people we train. So if you are amongst us when we're training young sisters and you coming through the mosque pregnant all the time, that's a problem. So we have to remove you from view. They're not allowed to see or associate with you because there's something going on in your personal that you cannot get together. So when you decide you can get that together, sister, after the training we've given you, when you decided to get together, come back and show us you got it together and we'll accept you back in the fold. And the thing that I like about the nation that I think is different from Christianity is it's totally about um, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to stand on your square. When you mess up, that's something you have to be accountable for your own stuff. We don't blame it on the devil. We don't ask Jesus to take the wheel. It's a certain saying we have make it happen. So if you got all your mental faculties and you need something done, you better make it happen. And we stand on that. So I believe if that was instituted in society for several years, we'd be totally different. We wouldn't have any dependencies. We wouldn't have any liquor stores on all the corners because they go out of business. Because the Muslims don't drink. The Muslims don't smoke. Not even the cigarettes. So yeah, it would have changed a lot of things.
Well, I titled this show Dark Truths with the ladies. So what I want to hear from you ladies is what are some of the dark truths of Black society's failures? What are some of the dark truths that you know of? The dark truths. What are they?
One that sticks out for me is we do have a tendency to accept, and I would even say sometimes promote single parenthood, single mothers. I would say we do because a lot of times if we have a daughter or even an older sister or somebody else, basically an adult that gets pregnant and isn't married, and I can look at it two or threefold. Black people, in my experience, we love children. So the last thing we want to tell somebody to do is to end a pregnancy. But then when we have children, teenagers, I know some sisters, in the nation, we don't do birth control because we try to teach sexual responsibility. So, but when you have teenagers and parents don't take extra precaution, because teenagers, when the hormones start working, you know what they like, they try to get a little extra crafty. So when you have teenagers, you got to be on your toes. It's a lot of staying home overnight, let your parents. It's a lot of stuff with teenagers you shouldn't do. You can't do it. And some parents do not want to add that extra responsibility to their load. And if you want to prevent your children from doing certain stupid things, because sometimes children do stupid things. So you have to make sure you're in their face to alleviate a lot of that stuff. So a lot of times we glamorize this single motherhood. Like if it were, and a lot of people think this is harsh, but if you have teenagers who have babies, I know my daughter was invited to a baby shower for a teenage mom. I told her she was not allowed to go I said, and you can't give her a gift until she becomes a grown up. And she just thought that was the most horrible thing. And her friends were like, well, why won't your mother let you go? And they couldn't understand why I wouldn't let her go, but she was not allowed to attend. So we have to draw the line somewhere. Society keeps giving us these new rules that are okay to follow. And we forget the rules that we used to follow when our mothers and our grandmothers were coming up. And so now we're taking on these new rules, and now it's everything goes. Everything's okay now. Nothing is shunned because nobody, oh, I don't want to judge anybody. Well, I judge. In my house, we judge. And that's the only way you can keep your children from just following any damn thing that's going on in society. Now, unless you find what society raising your family, then hey, then so be it. But if you don't want the BS that comes along with it, you're going to have to judge. You're going to have a standard. You're going to have to draw several lines. That's all.
Well, Lady Ruby, I know you have a few.
And I definitely agree with Aisatta. I'll say right off the bat, the majority of our issues can be stemmed back to a lack of self-love and self-respect. And that, more importantly, love and respect as a lack, period. It's not being modeled to us by our parents. It's not being given to us by our parents in our early formative years. And so then we go on to make decisions to try to fill that hole. Whether it's, for example, creating babies early. I used to see it all the time on Maury, all these little idiots who were running around saying, I'm going to have a baby. What were they saying? They wanted a baby to unconditionally love them. What are they really trying to say? Well, they didn't feel that unconditional love from their parents. They know that they felt unconditional love for their parents anyway, and just wished that it could be reciprocated. So they were trying to recreate something they didn't get, trying to fill that hole, trying to fill that void. You have no respect for yourself. So that means, well, you don't expect respect from others. You don't move in a way that belies other people treating you with respect. Why? Self-hate, right? I mean, it all stems down to that. And we don't want to admit that we're one of the ones, or that we know we'll point at other people, right? Everyone but me's got the problem. Oh, I've seen that around, but not me. Even though we're clearly demonstrating a lack of self-respect, a lack of self-love, a really strong distaste for blackness. And if you hate blackness, you hate yourself. And we don't want to admit that any of these things are true, that we see echoes of it in ourselves, in our families, the ones that we're creating. We don't want to admit that we're passing these things down to our children, to our younger siblings, whatever the case is, because we don't want to take accountability for something like that. We want to point at a worse case than us and say, well, as long as I'm not that person, I'm all right. Not recognizing that we're part of the issue. So that would be my number one, is that lack of love and lack of respect being the cause of everything. And I'm going to say that my second thing is that if we had a sisterhood, women would not treat each other the way that we do. And so there is no sisterhood. I'm sorry. And when I say that, that is to say, could a couple people be sisters to each other? Sure. But do we have a global sisterhood, actual movement of large groups of women who truly love and respect and support each other like sisters? Do we actually have that? No, we don't. And because we don't have that, it tells us that the nurturing and loving side of our community, right, which is one half, is fractured. And without that, How do we work together? How do we come to terms that, hey, well, it might not be great for me. It's like the prisoner's dilemma. It might not be the best solution for me, but it's the best solution for everyone. And it's still a good solution for me. How do we come and accept that when we have no love for one another, when the nurturing, loving side of this community, of this collective, is completely fractured? So I'm going to say that that is part number 2. And part number 3, I'm sorry, gentlemen, I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one today, but nobody understands, and this is men included, really and truly these days, what masculine means, what manhood means. And I'm not blaming anyone for that. I think if you are taught and reared in it from birth, then you know. I just think that the amount of men that have been are few and far between. And when you are flooding around and reaching and just trying desperately to be something that you know that you are, but you don't know how to demonstrate it, things are going to go wrong. And when women aren't raised with it and they don't understand, and you don't understand enough to really actually educate them either, or demonstrate for them, model for them, well, then they're reaching out and trying to grab up a masculine man, and they don't know what that means. And so I think that lack of knowledge and understanding, again, is at a base root of a lot of our issues. So that would be my top 3.
Well, as far as, masculine goes, I don't think that masculine is something that you can aspire to be. I think it's something that you just are. And I don't think it's for anyone to determine that for you. If you're a person that's masculine, it just kind of shows. It's not, masculinity isn't something you put on like a hat or a shirt or a pair of shoes. It's something that's just on you from the time you wake up to the time your ass go to sleep. That's my idea of masculinity. I will give you this though, Lady Ruby. I think that a lot of women have an idea of what, they have this ideal about what masculinity is. And I'll give you this too. They have an ideal of what masculinity is because they've never seen it. They've never seen a man who has it, and to be honest with you, I think that that's a problem. I think that that's a problem when women haven't seen a man in a masculine role,
right?
Living a masculine way of life. Because like I say, masculinity isn't something that you put on like a hat or a pair of gloves or a shirt. It's just something that's in you. It's all over you. It's the way you move, the way you walk, the way you think, the way you act, the way you deal with your kids, the way you deal with your woman, the way you deal with your life. All that shit is masculine. Masculine isn't one thing. It's a combination of many, many, many things. And I think that, what I think is that women don't really understand it because a lot of them haven't seen it. And I think that what they gauge is masculine is based on the things, it's based on an ideal that they have. And it may not necessarily be the same true. It may not be the true meaning of masculinity, because a woman, it's hard for a woman to define masculinity anyway. I think that that's like almost impossible.
Yeah, we can't define it. We just can recognize it. If we are in, fully functional, not dysfunctional, we can know it when we see it, but we can't define it. And for the record, let me just state that we don't know what femininity is either, because if you are being born, you have a little boy and a little girl, and they're being born into a whole community and generations of family that's just a bunch of single women. There's where are all the men? Where are the fathers? Where are the uncles? It's not being modeled. Then there aren't any masculine men to model for them or to teach them or to show them. And really, if you're just a bunch of women, how can you be in your pure feminine when you don't have the masculine energy there for you to be in balance with? So neither of these things are being modeled, and it has to do with the breakdown, obviously, of the family and the lack of modeling. So I'm not sitting there trying to criticize and put down men or trying to criticize and put down women or whatever. I just think it's a natural function of not having stable families that are modeling and showing and rearing children in this.
Yeah, I have to do. Well, let me ask Lady Aisatta. Do you think? I know what I think because I used to be in the nation too many years ago. Do you think that the Nation of Islam comes about life? Do you think they come about life from a masculine standpoint? Is masculinity, in your mind, in your opinion, is masculinity a focal point when it comes to the Nation of Islam? The way the way it is structured.
Yes, if you're a man, yes, definitely. Um, I would say that's the your eyes. That's the prize. Your eyes on that prize. And with sisters, it's being feminine, and it's it's hard to it's hard to explain, but um, when I came to YouTube listening to the arguments that brothers had against sisters, I was like, where is this coming from? Because it was something that I was not privy to seeing. Because in the circle that I rolled in, women take care of their children. There's not a thought culture in the nation, and it's just different. So I'm like, okay, where is this? What is this? I was like shocked, and then hearing sisters say, "Oh, niggas ain't shit." I'm like, what? That where I roll is just unheard of, because in the nation we're taught not to disparage each other like that. So
Mm.
if your husband has a shortcoming or something happened, and see, I think this is also where we get the notion of being a strong woman. We get it misconstrued. You're a strong woman when you can stand by your man when things happen. That's strong. That's strength. All this I don't need a man. That's not strength. That's idiocy actually. Because if you out here making children, oh, you need a man for something. You had to have him to have the baby, and then inadvertently you need him to help raise the child also. But yes, we have this breakdown in the community, and I thought somebody in the chat said it starts with maintaining marriages and families, and I agree with that. And that's one of the things in the nation that's very encouraged, because you can't have a strong nation if you don't have strong households and families, because that's what makes up your nation. So marriages, we don't enter into marriage unless everybody is vetted. We have the courtship procedure, and in the nation, you can't get married unless you have gone through courtship. And you can do it if you marry somebody that's not in the nation. But even at that, we don't advise it, because that means you haven't vetted that person. They haven't gone through these question and answer sessions that needs to be had, so you can find out the real things. Because when we meet people, we are we're kind of lulled by the physical appearances and the bodies, and the way they're treating us at the moment. But then when the courtship procedure comes, you put that aside and you have to handle some business. Because when you get married, you're creating empires together and children, and amassing money and property and wealth. So you want to keep that intact. You want to protect that. So the courtship procedure is designed so you can go forward and try not to have any mistakes, no bumps in the road. So yeah, I think I might have got off. I got off topic for a second, but
No, that's all right. Well, I know, being from the nation yourself, I mean, coming to YouTube has been a re-education, hasn't it?
yeah, it's a different thing. It's something different going on here.
But this is the thing, and I spoke about this the other night. I mean, a lot of this shit on YouTube, trust me, it's all fantasy. A lot of it is just fantasy. I mean, a lot of this crap, man, is so much fantasy that it ain't even funny.
But it
It ain't
sounds
even
like a
funny.
lot of people are taking this real seriously.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they're
a lot
making
of
it
people
sound
are.
genuine.
Oh, absolutely. Because see, a lot of people on here, this is their goddamn life. that this is it. This is the highlight of their day. This is the highlight of their week. This is the highlight of their month. This is the highlight of their year. This is the highlight of their life. That is why they take it seriously like that. Because see, many of us, if we don't have this, we don't have anything. Because many of us come from these backgrounds where we were powerless. We had no power. We had no voice. We had no one to listen to us. We had no one to believe in us. And you come on here and you have people who are willing to listen, willing to believe in you, willing to do the bobblehead to your damn talking points. So you have a degree of power because just like you see this as this big serious thing for you. There are people who follow you who see it as a big serious thing too. And they sit back and they wait on you and others to flip on your microphone, flip on your camera and start talking. Because see, those people are similar. Those are people who never felt like anything before. Those are people who never had themselves be part of a collective before. And you offer them that. I always say that there's not much of a gully between content intakers and content creators, because many of us who sit back and watch other folks, many of us look to be entertained, some to be enlightened. Some of us come here to laugh. Some of us come here to cry. Some of us come here to hear things that ourselves are in fear of saying or just don't have the capacity of saying. Some of us come here to vent. Some of us come here to express our anger. You know, there's a lot of different reasons why we watch other folks. And likewise, the people who create the content, like myself, we are somewhat addicted. We like to turn on this camera. We like to flip on this microphone and know we're going to have 40, 50, 60, 100, 200, 300, whatever amount of people watching us, listening to us, hanging on our word. So we have, it's kind of a crazy kind of digital relationship, you know, that content creators and people who watch content have. And I think that media has not only, I think media has not only kind of amplified our own insecurities or our own narcissism. Not only has it amplified those things, I think that it has given a lot of us a sense of belonging. It has given a lot of us a sense of creativity, and in some ways, I think it's given a lot of us a sense of family. And you know, a lot of us we have came from a place where we didn't feel those things. We didn't have those things. We didn't grow up with those things. So I think for some people, you know, YouTube and other media platforms provide these things. But that's just that's what I think. You know, that's just so X opinion. But what the hell do X know, right? But that's kind of how I see it.
Makes sense.
That's how I see it. So if we were talking to the president of the chapter of the N.A.A.C.P, and I asked her, you know, is she prepared to receive the pandering? Because make no mistake, I mean, you're going to get some of these candidates that coming down. They're going to want to sit in the N.A.A.C.P hall and try to pander to black folks to get our vote, because the black vote is very important, especially down in the South, because there's a lot of us Negroes down here. And I asked her, you know, is she prepared to take on the pandering? Do you ladies believe that politics help black folks? Are politics really something that, I mean, I know we should be interested in them, and we should know, you know, who our mayor is and governor is and congressman is and all that kind of stuff, commissioner and all that. But do you think it really helps black people?
I think on the local level, yeah. because what's the word? You can kind of basically see what's going on locally and see what's offered to change it. And if you want to get into get your hands dirty as far as what will change it, then yeah, by all means. But I think on a national level, it takes a certain amount of effort and for us to get our local people to national levels. Like in my city, we had a local guy. He got up to a couple of them when Obama was in office. They were up in the White House. So, but really, the situations that were going on locally, they didn't really do anything to affect change on a national level. But there are certain things that changed locally. So, local wise, I've seen things change as far as politics goes. But nationally, no.
Um, you know what? I'm going to say this. I think that in our community, there is a lot of political laziness and political ignorance. And I 100% fall into that camp. So my even vague knowledge or interest in politics on anything more than a very superficial level only began in the last few years. And to be honest with you, I recognize like literally how ignorant I am of things. I did not know. I did not absorb this stuff. I didn't go out and learn it. I brushed off a lot of it as irrelevant. Just figured it didn't really matter. I mean, all of the ignorant positions you can take. And this was the position of, I'm going to say, the majority of my peers, actually. It wasn't a minority opinion. It's like politics are for the old stuffy people who read the paper from cover to cover every morning. It's not for us. And that's seriously the opinion a lot of people held and maintained, unfortunately. So, I can't even, being real, I can't intelligently comment on politics in a significant way because I'm like a baby. I'm a baby just learning.
Well, I mean, I've always been of the mind that, as far as politics go, you know, when you're talking about politics on a federal level, like the president, and even so much as the senators and congressmen, I mean, will you feel the effects of these people's policies tomorrow? Probably not. But your mayor, your county clerk's office, your commissioners, your sanitation commissioners, your local politicians, the policies that they put into effect, you will feel those tomorrow. I mean, those are happening tomorrow. Even your governor, okay, your governor, your mayor, town supervisor, county supervisor, you will feel the effects of their policies tomorrow. So I've always been of the mind that even if you're not involved with, say, presidential politics, which is ironic because Black people in Black society, that's when we're known to go out and vote the most. We're known to go out and vote the most when the president's running, even though presidential politics don't affect us that much. But we don't think about those midterms. We don't think about our mayor. We don't think about our town supervisor or county supervisor or the sanitation commissioner or the county clerk's office or no, city council. No, we don't think about that stuff. We don't think about that stuff at all. But between those presidential elections, usually all of that shit's going on too. Mayor, governor, town hall, county supervisor, all that shit's going on. The people who can affect you tomorrow. And I think that a lot of times we just don't care about that kind of stuff, and we should, because I know the last time I went and voted, right? We went to vote in 2018, I believe. And there weren't just politicians on the ballot. There were policies on the ballot. There were policies about your water. There were policies about your garbage. There was policies about affordable housing, highway projects, judges. I mean, you're not just talking about who's going to be the president, who's going to be the senator, who's going to be the congressman. No, there were policies on those ballots as well. So when we talk about getting involved with politics, we need to know that when you go into that voting booth, or should I say, when you don't walk into that voting booth, you're not just missing an opportunity to vote for your president, your governor, your mayor, your congressman, your town council, and all that kind of stuff. You're also missing an opportunity to vote on things like who picks up your garbage, where your damn water comes from. All right. Whether or not rents go up, whether or not banks can come after you after a certain time on a loan. Your all kinds of shit is on that ballot. It's not just the politicians, man. There's initiatives on there, whether or not they're going to put another damn highway running down through your neighborhood, whether or not they're going to build another electrical plant behind your house. That kind of shit is on those ballots as well. And I think we don't talk about that kind of stuff enough, because when we think going to vote during the political season, we think, vote for the president or the governor or the mayor or the whoever. Man, there's all kinds of shit on those ballots, man. All kinds of shit. Shit like whether or not weed should be legal. That kind of shit is on there. It's there. So when you say you don't want to go vote, you're not just saying you don't want to go vote for these politicians. You're also saying you don't want to go vote for some of these policies that will affect you, because some of your local shit is on those ballots as well. And I think that a lot of us, we need to be aware of that, especially those people who tout not voting.
Good point.
Yeah, we need to be aware of that stuff, man, because there's a lot of shit on there. There is, man. It ain't just these candidates, man. It's all kinds of shit. Yeah, memorandum, brother Stoic. There's all kinds of things on there, man, that you're leaving yourself out of. Because see, I'm a true believer that if you're a person that doesn't vote, you're not allowed to complain about politics. Because
Right.
see, the opportunity for you to be heard and voice your opinion, you let that go. Now, if you vote and the guy that you got in there won, the guy that you voted for won, you can talk shit about whatever he does, because see, you helped him get in there. You also can talk shit about the other guy. If you voted for a guy and your guy lost, you can still talk crap about the guy who won, because see, your voice was heard. You voted for somebody else, so you have a right to complain because you didn't vote for that damn guy. But if you're a person who didn't vote on anything and didn't vote at all, you don't have a right to complain. You really don't. You can't bitch and moan about politics, because see, your opportunity to take part in the process, you didn't do it. You didn't do it. If you don't vote, your black ass can't complain. That's what I think. But that's just me. That's just me. You ain't going to vote, don't complain. I mean, the part of the process that you could have been involved in, you decided not to do it. So why are you going to sit at your couch now and throw pillows at the TV because the mayor is doing some bullshit that you don't like? Shut up. You had your chance to get out there and make your voice heard, and you didn't do it. So don't sit in front of the TV now and bitch and moan because you don't like what the mayor's doing. Come on, man. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's just me. But yeah, I appreciate y'all coming on tonight, man. I do. A lot of good perspectives tonight. The president of the N.A.A.C.P, she came on and she came from a different angle than I expected. And I think the interview went well. What do y'all think of the interview? What was y'all thoughts on how it went?
I think it was great.
This is folks for the in the chat too. What y'all think about the president of the N.A.A.C.P? What y'all think about that?
Mm-hmm. Very regal woman, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. she kind of blindsided me because the photos and shit that I have of her didn't
Mhm.
look like that. When she first popped up, I was like, I was like, who the fuck is that? I didn't even I said, because the photos that they sent me don't look like, what she looked like. They made her
Mm.
look a lot older. She had like this hair, like this wig on and all that kind of stuff. And she had on like the head wrap and like the gold necklace, like the whole Aphrodite kind of thing going on,
Mhm.
Nefertiti kind of thing going on. I was like, damn, who the fuck is that? This ain't the president. This is somebody else. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't ready for what I saw because I expected, this old looking lady to come on there, and say a bunch of whole old timey shit. But she
Mhm.
did, she didn't do that. Yeah, she didn't do that, man. She, and once again, of course, I disagreed with some of the shit she was saying, but I mean, some of the shit I did agree with. She said she's going to keep me posted on when some of these politicians come down there to pander, and she said she's going to let me know. She give me the heads up. I come on down there with the whole TPOT camera set up and have cameras all over the place and see what the hell's going on.
Mhm.
So I'm looking
Mhm.
forward to that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to
Oh, it's gonna
that.
be good.
Yeah, shit, I can't wait. Shit. I told my wife, I said, I'm going to ask about, coming down there and filming, when whoever comes down there, whether it be Bernie Sanders or Bloomberg or, Elizabeth Warren or, whoever else comes down there, Tom Steyer, Buttigieg, whoever it is, whenever they come down there, give me the heads up. I'll be there. Yeah, I'm there.
Mhm.
And she
Mhm.
says she is. So we're going to see if that happens. We're
Right.
going to see. And if I do some taping, it will be on the TPOT YouTube page. Yeah, it'll be on here. That's just a fact. I'll bring it to you, folks. I will bring it to you, and hopefully, I might can get maybe get a few minutes interview of the people myself, because I got to ask them these questions, like what they plan on doing for Black folks, so on and so forth. So that's going down, y'all. So don't worry, y'all will get a first-hand look. If I get an interview with any of these people, y'all will get a first-hand look, and I will be asking them the questions I know y'all want me to ask them. All right.
Mhm.
Y'all got my word. Y'all got my word on that. I will be asking them the questions that I know y'all want me to ask these folks. So don't worry. X got it. X got it. I'm going down there representing all of us, y'all. Yeah, I'm going down there representing all of us when I go. Trust that. I am. I will be asking the shit that needs to be asked. First question, what you gonna do for Black folks? That's the question I want. If they just answer that question, they probably don't have to answer no more questions. If they
Mhm.
answer that question the right way, I'll be like, oh, thank you very much. If I get that one question out of them, I'm cool. So
Right.
y'all know I'm going to do it. Y'all got my word on that. Trust me. I'm going
Mhm.
down there representing all of us. I promise y'all. Y'all can hold me to that shit. All right.
Mm.
All right.
Mm.
But yeah, I appreciate yeah, Lady Deborah. She wants us to she wants us to back Tom Steyer. It's crazy because what I've been hearing, especially for people in the South, um, the whole Bloomberg Tom Steyer thing. Now, allegedly, Tom Steyer has invested a lot of money into Black folks. Allegedly. Um, far as I know, the jury's still out on that. I cannot confirm or deny that until I read up on it myself. I have heard it not only from the president of the N.A.A.C.P, but I've heard it before. Now, I don't know how true it is because, like I said, I haven't read up on Tom Steyer. I mean, I don't really think that much of the guy. I don't think he's gonna win. I really don't. Um, to be honest with you, I'm thinking at the end of all this, it's probably going to be Pete Buttigieg. If y'all want my prediction, at the end of all of this, the last two people standing are probably going to be Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg, whatever his name is. It's going to be those two people. Um, maybe Joe Biden's a long shot. I don't think the Bloombergs and the Tom Steyers, I don't think they're going to factor in, even though they got gazillions of dollars and can throw it all around and make paper airplanes out of $100 bills and shit like that. I just don't think they stand a snowball's chance in Hades. I just don't. I think the people that's going to be out there is going to be Sanders, Buttigieg, and possibly Biden, depending on how he does when he gets in the South. Yeah, people say that. People say that Biden is done, but I don't know. I'm not so sure. I got to see how he does in the South. Like I always say, and I tell my wife this all the time, y'all. Super Tuesday thins the herd. Super Tuesday this year is going to be March 3rd. After March 3rd, the herd will be so thin. All right, the herd will be thin. So yeah, it's gonna be thin. Because there's still now, I think there's, I don't know what, like maybe another still 15, 20 people. We don't think it's that many people running, because you only see like 6 of them actually names being mentioned in the race, because the other people are such long shots that they don't even mention their names. But there's still about 15 people, I believe, that are still running, right? They're still technically running. But after Super Tuesday, after March 3rd, forget it. That herd is going to be thin as hell. There's going to be like 5 folks left. At all the 15, 20 that's still there, it's going to be like 5 people left. And 2 of those people I know are going to be Bernie Sanders and Pete Buttigieg. And maybe Amy Klobuchar. I mean, she did pretty good the other night. I'm thinking Amy Klobuchar might be a long shot. She'll still be around possibly after Super Tuesday. Biden may still be around after Super Tuesday. I don't know. We'll see. Super Tuesday is going. That's what I look for. I don't really look for what's going on right now. I mean, there's only been 2 races thus far, so you can't really look at what you see now. But after Super Tuesday, you'll have a pretty good idea of who's gonna be doing what, where they're gonna be, what their position is gonna be. Because see, now what they're gonna start focusing on now is pandering to black folks. That's what they're gonna do now, because the race is gonna start heading south. So it's time to pander to black folks. It's time to go to black churches, put on the choir robe, clap their hands, grab a tambourine and hit it up against their hip and speak with a southern drawl, and then get up there and make a speech about how they used to hang out with black people when they was in high school. That's what's about to happen now. Yeah, that's what's about to happen. They're gonna put on one of them. They put on the choir robe and get them a damn tambourine and hit it up against their hip and sing a few black church songs that they know, and then have a speech and talk about how they used to hang out with black people in high school and how this black guy saved them when they was a nerd, and they was putting his head in the toilet and the black guy saved them from being drowned. You're gonna hear that kind of shit. That's what's going to happen now. They're going to start pandering to black people. And what they're going to do, I'm going to make this prediction, and y'all can tell me when I'm right in a few weeks. I'm going to tell you what they're going to do. They are going to try to they're going to try to turn black people against the other candidates. Because what they're going to do is they're going to try to dig up the most racist shit about each other and put it on TV. Put it on the radio. You mark my words. If I'm wrong, I'll give everybody listening $100. See, I can say that because I know I ain't gonna have to do it. They're gonna try to turn black people against each other. They're going to try to dig up the most racist shit on each other and blast it on TV. Oh, see, he's a racist, you black folks. He's a racist. See what he did. See what he said. See how he treated black folks back in 1990. Mark my words. And that's coming soon, guaranteed. Because they always pander to us, and our black asses always fall for it every damn time. Yeah, we fall for it every time. They come in there, they talk to the N.A.A.C.P, they stand inside the church and say they love black folks. And the next thing you know, we down there voting for them. And guess what? We won't see their asses again for another 4 years until they come back again and want you to vote for their asses again. And we just keep falling for that shit, man. We keep falling for it. It's crazy. We got to stop that shit too. We do. We got to stop it, y'all. You know, see me, I'm an independent. I'm not a Democrat. I ain't a Democrat.
Right.
No,
Me either, T. Me either.
I ain't no Democrat. Because see, if you ask me, and I've said this many, many times, Republicans and Democrats are like two fangs of the same snake. See,
Yep.
it's just that one bites you from behind, the other one bites you from the front. That's the only difference. That's the only
Agreed.
difference. You know, one bites you in the ass, one bites you in the gut.
Yep.
That's all. That's it.
Mhm.
That is it. But you're still poison just the same.
Mhm.
You still get venom going in you. It's just that
Mhm.
sometimes you get bit in the ass and then you get bit in the gut, but you're still getting envenomated. So does it really matter? Does it really matter? But anyway,
I don't know. I think
um,
I prefer the one who at least will look me in the eye while they're stabbing me in the gut. You know what I
a-
mean? I don't know.
absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. You know, I mean, at least the person that's looking you in the eye, you know, they're kind of letting you know their intentions. You know, they're letting you know what they're going to do. You know,
Right.
the person who stab you in the back or stab you in your ass, you know, they're creeping up behind you, man. They're
Right.
creeping up behind you. So
I mean,
I
goddamn,
mean,
don't at least if someone's gonna kill me, at least let it not be the coward, right? Face
yeah,
me,
exa-
come for me.
exactly, exactly, exactly. That's how I see it. You
Mhm.
know, I mean, they fangs are the two fangs of the same snake. You know, one just bites you in the gut, the other one bites you in the ass. That's it.
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know, so we we have to be wary of that, and we have to learn to follow. We have to learn to follow what these people's policies are. I think black people, and I don't like to tell black people what to do as far as politics go, but I think we need to follow policy as opposed to politics, man. And you know, I'm the type of person who I never understood why black people voted for Republicans because I always thought that, you know, Republicans, you know, why would you vote for a Republican? You know, why would you vote for a Republican? But see, I can't be mad at people that vote for Republicans. I can't be mad at them because see, those people who are voting for Republican, they're actually voting for policy. They're voting based on policy. See, a
Mhm.
lot of us as black people, we're voting based on politics,
Yes.
not policy. You know, we're voting what we think we're supposed to, the way we're supposed to vote. That's what we're doing,
Mhm. Mhm.
you know,
Hmm.
and that's just the truth. You know, we're letting other people tell us, well, y'all should vote this way, you know, and Democrats have they have this way of see when you think about Democrats and Republicans, right? You're standing on the side of a lake, right? And you would say a Republican will walk up and just grab you by the back. He would just grab you by the back of your head and just put your head under the water and drown you, right?
Mhm.
Democrats are different. Democrats, you know, they do a little dance with you and spin you around and get you dizzy and then just kind of lead you into the water and slowly drown you.
Mhm.
That's the difference. That's the only difference, man. Especially when you're talking about us as black people. Let's be honest, man. Especially when you're talking about, you know, politicians up in Washington, D.C., because I don't think any of them give a shit about black folks, you know?
Mhm. 100% true.
Yeah, they don't give a shit about black folks. So, I mean, either if you trying to accommodate either one of them, you know, it's the difference between, you know, just kind of getting thrown off the boat and drowning, you know, a vicious death, or somebody kind of like dancing with you and, you know, giving you a few drinks of liquor and you know, getting you inebriated and just kind of sliding you off the boat. Either
Mhm.
way, you drown. It's just the way you it's the way you're being drowned, man. That's kind of how I've seen politics over the last few years. Because I used to be a Democrat now. Full disclosure, I used to be a Democrat. Not anymore. I've been an independent for quite some time because that's how I view politics now.
Yep, I feel that.
Man, it's just the truth, man. You know, both of them screw you over. Just that.
That's something.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's something I noticed when I was really young. It's one of the many reasons that for me politics, at least here, right? And remember that things are better here overall, right? But that's why for me politics was irrelevant. It didn't seem to matter who actually got into power. The exact same trajectory was going to happen. The same decisions were getting made. It was like they were making these promises that were so wildly different from one another. But when they get into office, overall, I was like, I don't know, you could be, well, Democrat or Republican. Didn't really matter. You could be conservative or liberal. I can't really tell because y'all just make the same decisions over and over and over again. So, I think that's why I got so disillusioned with politics, because it really felt like it didn't matter. But with that being said, I also didn't look at the concept of local politics, especially, and how those decisions actually really do impact you. And then at that point, again, you should be deciding on the facts, like as far as, hey, listen, what policy are you actually going to be instituting for real? Not and if we've got time, if we've got money, then I'm going to care about this. Like, nah, like, what are you really about? What is the core, the meat of what you're campaigning on? Because that's the thing I'm going to look at and be like, all right, well, how does that benefit me or not? How does that benefit my family or not? As far as the school systems or, maybe even transportation, whatever it is, those things, I think that I think it was Cerulean really bringing, local politics to my attention and kind of showing me, hey, this is how you could start caring if you don't understand yet. And I was like, oh, okay, these little details that affect my life in such a major way that it seems like no one really focuses on. That's the thing I got to be actually opening my eyes and looking at. And then in that case, you can't be a Democrat or a Republican or a Green Party or whatever party. You can't be a party because in that case, you're basically just following the echo chamber. Well, I'm a Democrat, so whatever the Democrats say, I'm voting for that. Well, then did you really think about it? Does it really matter? Then at that point, if they're going to completely screw you over? Because no, I'm a Democrat. Democrats are better. How? Do you know?
Yeah, I've asked people that too. And guess what? No one can ever answer that damn question.
Nope.
No one ever has an answer for that question, boy. Because because the answer is they don't know.
No.
They don't know the difference. They don't know the difference between those two.
No.
They think they do. Because I've heard people say, well, Democrats do stuff for black people. Okay, tell me what that is.
Right.
You can tell me what that is now. Now we talking. But they can never answer that question either. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, Democrats have been known to Democrats big thing when it comes to black people, especially when you're talking about the poor black people. Democrats are all for, social justice programs and, social financial programs and things of that nature. They are the people who kind of champion those efforts, or at least they pretend to champion them so they can pander to black folks. They're usually the people who are doing that kind of stuff. But to be honest with you, when you think about those kind of programs, you think about those kind of things, I mean, many times, and I'll say again, they're only pretending to champion those efforts, because once those people are in office, they have little to no involvement with these same programs that they stood on platforms and said, they say, oh, we're going to make sure you have free college. We're going to make sure you have affordable health care. We're going to make sure, your kids can get into a good school, and we're going to change the education curriculum, and on and on and on and on and on. And then they turn around and they get in office. They don't do any of that shit they said they were going to do. They don't do it.
Mm-mm.
Ever. They don't do it. Mm-mm. I mean, come on, let's be honest. Shit, they don't do it. And the people they end up doing it for isn't really the people they pandered to for months and months and months and months. They turn around and do that shit for other people. They just pander to black folks because they need our numerical strength. I mean, there's a lot of us. So our numerical strength comes in handy come election time. But shit, you think they really gonna do a small fraction of the shit that they say they're going to do? I mean, I have problems with Donald Trump, but one thing he said when he was campaigning that I knew held true when he said, "Black folks, what you got to lose by voting for me?" And guess what? That was one of the few things that he said that actually was true.
Right. He spoke the truth on that.
Goddamn right. Shit, you didn't have anything to lose by voting for Trump, because if you just voted for somebody else, wouldn't have made a damn difference. It just wouldn't have. I mean, we got to be honest about this stuff, man. I mean, it is what it is. I don't ever see a time where Washington politics are ever going to help black people. I got convinced of that when I saw the election of Barack Hussein Obama. Washington politics are never going to do jack diddly squat for black folks, because if they was going to get done, it would have been done then. Because you look at Barack Obama, okay, the quote unquote first black president. If he felt like he didn't have to do shit for black folks, what old white man gonna feel like he have to do it? Just digest that. If Donald Trump was to do one thing for black folks, he'd have Barack Obama beat. Just by doing one thing. One thing, he'd have him beat. That's just the truth. So when you got your first black president that didn't feel the need to do anything for black folks, really, why would you think that some white man, no matter who that white man is, whether he's got a D behind his name or R behind his name, why would he feel compelled to do anything for black people? He could literally get on a podium and say, "Well, niggas, y'all had a black president. He didn't do shit for it." Yeah, he might as well get on the stage and say, "Well, niggas, y'all had a black president. He didn't do shit for your black asses. So what the hell make you think I'm going to do something for you?" Yeah, he could literally say that. And he wouldn't be wrong. We'd raise a stink because he said nigga and all that. But in reality, he wouldn't be wrong. He wouldn't be wrong.
True.
I'm just saying, man. That is what it is. Shit. Come on, man. We got to be honest with this stuff, man. We do. That's why I say again, these local politics are important, because these local politics will make a difference in your life, folks. You probably want to know who's taking your garbage away. You probably want to know where your water's coming from. You probably want to know if they're building some chemical plant in your neighborhood, man. These are things you want to fucking know. I'm sure you do, unless you're just crazy.
Yeah, what's going on with your school system?
Exactly. What's going on with your school? What's going on down in City Hall? You want to know these things, man. Don't get tied up. You hear people talk about Trump. Man, let me tell you something. Trump is not thinking about your black ass. He's not.
Not really.
No, he's not. Trump don't give a shit about black people. She didn't give a shit about black people before he was president. Why would he now?
Right.
Trump doesn't really give a shit about white people though either. Let's be real. Trump gives a shit about Trump. Okay? Like anyone who's got that twisted, I don't understand how they could get that twisted. He will say whatever to appease whatever. He does not care. Oh yeah, anti-illegal immigrants, we will more work for Americans. And then who's Trump hiring? Oh wait, was it illegal immigrants? Oh, not like a long time ago, like now, right? Because Trump
Yeah.
doesn't care. He does not care about anything he's saying. He just like, oh, got to be president? Check. Because The Simpsons said I was going to be president in 1992. Check. Like, that's it. He does not care. He will take this country and like if he bankrupts it, he'll just be like, oh well I'll just move on to another country and try again, because that's what he does with businesses. Trump cares about Trump. He is a spoiled child. That is it.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Someone should take Twitter away from him. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, we got to face these realities, man. We have to do it. We have to face these realities. Get into your local politics, folks. That's where the goddamn difference is going to be made, man. And that's when the effects on your life are going to take place. Ain't going to have a goddamn thing to do with Donald Trump. It's not. It is not. Unless you some rich motherfucker and you bringing in a couple million a year, you might benefit from his policies. But I mean, other than that, if you're just a regular rank and file black person like me, shit, man, I don't even think about Trump. I look at Trump on the internet and on TV for entertainment. Yeah, actually, I just look at him for entertainment, man, because I know he gonna say some crazy shit. Yeah, he gonna say some old crazy shit. I'm serious. I look at him for entertainment. I mean, because something crazy gonna come out of his mouth if he's talking.
Yes. This is how I got into politics. Like let's follow what Trump is doing today, because he's a clown. Like he's gonna do something clownish. You just have to wait. Someone will let you know what he did last night, right? Like it's just like guaranteed entertainment.
Yeah, he's entertainment. Well, let me ask y'all this, man, before I let y'all go. Do y'all think he's gonna be reelected?
Yeah, I do.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You do?
Absolutely.
I do.
100%. 100%.
My wife says the same shit. She's like, "Oh, he's gonna get reelected." I'm like, "Nah, no, fuck, he's not."
Yeah, just like me and my husband were talking about it, about the impeachment issue. I was like, they're not going to impeach him, and he's going to get reelected. Because, hey, I believe people take care of their own. Okay, that's just the way it works here.
Do your husband think he's going to be reelected too?
Yep.
Wow.
But like my understanding is though, wasn't Clinton impeached and then reelected anyway? Like, didn't that already happen? Haven't we already seen that absolutely can happen? Like,
yeah, we saw it. But it's supposed to be different this time. God damn it.
Yeah, okay. Because America's changed so much since the 90s.
Right.
It's supposed to be different. God
Let's see
damn
how
it.
that happens.
Right? Like, we're not talking about the 60s. We're talking about the 90s. It was not that long ago.
Well, this is what I think. I think that he will be reelected depending on who he runs against. I don't think everybody... I think there's a few people in the Democratic field that can beat him. To be honest with you, I think Bernie Sanders can beat him. I think Bernie can beat him. I don't know about the gay guy, Buttigieg. I don't think America's ready. And somebody mentioned that in the chat earlier, that this country's nowhere near electing a gay man who's married to another man as president. And I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
too.
But whatever it is, I mean, I just don't think America's ready for that.
Nope. Just I said from, like, remember, and I don't follow politics, just on the surface alone, I said there was no way. They are very stupid people. If they wanted to win, they should have put Bernie up against Trump, because there was no way after having a black president for 8 years that they were going to allow a woman president. That's too much rapid change. It was never going to happen. You needed an old white man to run against an old white man. That's what needed to happen. They were stupid. They said, oh, well, let's be more progressive. Now we're going to get a woman president. No, I don't care what everyone can keep telling me about the politics all they want. It wasn't gonna happen. If they put a gay man up against Trump, it does not matter. Trump will win by a landslide. Let's stop being silly and find an old white man that everyone agrees with, and then you know what, you get him to run against Trump. And even then, you're gonna have a hard time, because America really likes to re-elect people. first of all. And second of all, presidents really like to create some shit in the world right before election time. And then, you know what? Americans will stick with that president so they can see it through to the end. So, one way or the other, I have never, like, that's just my experience. Like, I didn't even really think it was a real thing that you're getting reelected for another 4 years. I always just take it for granted it's going to happen because it always does.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Bernie can beat him, though. I think Bernie can beat him. That's my opinion. I think because the thing with Bernie is that, see, both of them, two old white men, like you said. But I think Bernie has the appeal to pull some some Republicans to his side, because I don't agree with Bernie's politics and policies totally, but he just seems like a more sensible old white man. If I got two old white men to choose from, I'm taking Bernie all day long. I mean, as opposed to taking Trump, because to me, Trump is just a buffoon to me. This guy is just just an imbecile to me. Yeah, he's a freaking imbecile. So if I had to choose between two old white men, I'd ride with Bernie before Trump any goddamn day. That's just the truth. So, and I think that Bernie is more of a sensible man. He seems more honest. He seems more truthful. And he's just, like I said, he just seems more sensible. And I think that will carry the day for him at the end of it. But, that's just me. I don't know.
I just don't think Bernie's going to be the one running against Trump. I think that there's going to be interference, just like there was, and someone else is going up. See, that's the thing, is that I really believe that the interference was run so that way Trump, so that way Trump could win. And there's going to be interference again.
Guy too?
I think it's going to be the gay guy, likely, but it's going to be for sure someone who can't win.
Wow,
100%.
That's the same thing my wife said. My wife said, "Oh, it's going to be the gay guy." Everybody thinks it's going to be the gay guy, huh? Wow.
Because they're running interference. And see, the thing is, we don't even realize how deeply they'll run the interference, posing as people for years in social media. We think it's some black person or whatever. That's not, to make sure that they guide us. I mean, there's so much talk against Bernie right now as it is. Right, that it's easy to create a tipping point where he's going to lose by just a little bit, and you can tweak that number if you want and whatever, because they want Trump to be reelected. That's the thing. So Bernie running, you'd hope, versus a lot of the other options, that Bernie's gonna win the ticket and he's gonna be the one against Trump. But I just don't think it's gonna happen. Honestly, I don't.
What about you, Lady Aisatta? Do you think it's gonna be Buttigieg or?
Well, I'm thinking along the lines of what Ruby's saying. We're gonna end up with Trump again, and it's basically gonna be because they're gonna put him up against somebody who's not gonna win. So that's what it looks like to me.
Oh, that sucks. Well, I appreciate you, ladies. I do for coming on tonight, man, and getting your perspectives. I wanted some dark truths to be told, and I want to hear from some ladies, and I appreciate, the president of the Mecklenburg chapter of N.A.A.C.P coming on as well. You ladies are always welcome on the TPOT YouTube page. And let me say this to you ladies before you leave. I mean, I know often there's a lot of friction between men and women, on this platform. I know, we all see it. And there's very few women that I actually respect on here. And you ladies are a couple of them. So, you need to know that. And you need to know that, you're always welcome here because I have respect for you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
And likewise.
So whenever you feel like you want to come on and talk about something, a platform always open for you, Unless I'm booked doing some other shit. But other than that,
Got you.
But I appreciate both you ladies, though. I do. I do. All right.
Yes,
For
sir.
sure.
All right. Peace.
Thank you. You guys have a good night.
All right.
All
Cheers,
right.
y'all.
Yeah. We're gonna wrap this up, y'all. A lot of stuff got said tonight, y'all. A lot of stuff. I'm gonna turn my camera on so you folks can see me. Let me see. I gotta set my shit up. As I had this up here. But yeah, a lot of shit got said tonight, y'all. And what y'all think about because I know y'all looked at the banner, right? And y'all see, look, y'all saw that question mark, right? Y'all didn't know who the hell was coming up here. So I guess I can change it now to this. Because see, this is the picture I got, y'all. See that picture? That's the picture they sent me. So when she showed up, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting her to, show up looking like that. That big old wig on. But she didn't come looking like that. I was like, damn, who the fuck is that? I thought they was like I thought that was like the PR person or something. And but she answered the questions though, y'all. She didn't flinch. I asked her about baby mamas and all that shit. She didn't flinch. She answered them. I ain't throw no softball questions at her. Y'all know I wasn't. Y'all know I wasn't gonna throw no snowballs at her. Y'all know I was throwing straight lava rocks at her, and she took them. I mean, she didn't flinch, y'all. So, kudos to her for that. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to her for that. I mean, she did answer the questions, y'all. She didn't buck, she didn't run, she didn't do none of that. We had some technical difficulties because some shit was going on with her mic. It took her like 20 minutes, so she had to go in and come out, and all that shit. But eventually, we got it together. And I say again, man, she didn't run. She didn't run from the questions at all, man. She didn't run from the questions, y'all. So, she stood up. She stood up, y'all, to the old TPOT grilling. So, kudos to her for that. Kudos to her for that. Shit. And she came off different than I expected. I expected her to come, with the, like I said before, that old-timey wisdom. And she didn't. She actually she sounded pretty progressive. She came up pretty progressive. She sounded like a social justice warrior, progressive social justice warrior. I don't know what y'all got from it, but that's what I got from it, And I say again, I disagree with a lot of the stuff she said, but a lot of the stuff she said I did agree with. And I know y'all did too. I know y'all disagreed with some of the stuff she said. And likewise, I agreed with some of the things she said. So, I mean, I think the interview went all right. And I say again, she didn't run, y'all. She didn't run from none of the shit I said. I would talk to her about infant mortality. I asked her a question about baby mamas. I was talking to her about poverty, homeless folks, crime, shooting. Talked about all that, y'all. She didn't flinch. She didn't flinch, y'all. She didn't. I expected to make her flinch. She didn't. Quite impressive, man. If you just joining the stream, you might want to go ahead, man, and rewind it back, man, and check the interview out, man. Because I interviewed Reverend Corinne Mack, man, the president of the North Carolina chapter of the N.A.A.C.P, right here on the TPOT YouTube page, because this is what we do here. Yeah, this is what we do here. And she took a couple questions from the folks too. So, only here, man, you see shit like this. Only here you see shit like this, man. Cause I know. Let me tell y'all something, man. I know we get up here, you know, and we do debates, and sometimes, you know, we get up here and we do a bunch of fuckery shit, you know, and stuff like that. But every now and then, it's good to talk some serious stuff. Every now and then, we have to do it. But y'all know, because see, looking at the numbers now, I know that most of y'all here are like my true followers. Y'all are the people who, you know, just like I said last night, you know, when those numbers die down and the people still around, man, those are the folks who really follow me, man. You know, let's be honest. Those are the folks who really follow me, you know, and y'all know, man, that, you know, that's kind of how we do it here, man. We don't, you know, we don't just do the bullshit and nah, man. You know, we do real shit sometime and talk to real people, man. You know, we talk to doctors and lawyers and scientists and motivational speakers, and you know, we do that here. We do that here. We talk to the president of the N.A.A.C.P here. Yeah, it's what we do here. I know we get down sometime, we get involved with some of the niggatry, you know, and it's fun and all that kind of stuff. But sometimes we have to talk about real shit. You know, sometimes we have to talk about some real shit. That's all. It's the way it is. And every now and then, man, I like to flip it, man, and turn some channels, man. You know, that's why I had the ladies come up tonight, because I wanted to hear their perspective on this whole Kobe Bryant thing and Gayle King and all that shit. Because I've heard from the brothers. I want to see what the women had to say about it, man. I want to see what their angle was on it. You know? And they got a chance to ask her some questions too. You know? We do things different here, man. This is why I'm not allowing the old, you know, disrespectful nonsense bullshit. No, man, we doing that shit here, man. Fuck out of here. Go ahead with that bullshit. Go to them other channels with that nonsense. It ain't coming here. I don't give a fuck who don't like it. Because I know a lot of motherfuckers probably try to come in here and write some bullshit. But see, I got my motherfucking Streamlabs robot in here, and a lot of shit just won't get in. Certain shit you try to write in here, that robot will just block you. It'll never go on. Because it up, motherfuckers. Here's certain shit you try to write in here. When you go to press that button, guess what? The fucking robot blocks your dumb ass. Yeah, that's what happens. No more. Yeah. No more. This channel is for grown-ups. Now, don't get me wrong. We're going to have some fun here. But it's going to be grown-up fun. Not bullshit elementary fun. And I say again, my guests will not be being fucking disrespected. I mean that shit, y'all. I am not playing when it comes. Because I take it personally. That's just like you coming to my house and a motherfucker walks in the door and disrespects you. I wouldn't allow that shit. When you come to TPOT, you at X's house. You shouldn't have to worry about being disrespected by dumbass Negroes who don't even know you just because they want to be stupid. And that's just the way that's going down. It's the way it's going down. And for those of you who need a refresher of how it goes down, let me remind you, you get one sentence out before. And for you dumb hoes, same thing. One sentence out before.
Fatality.
Yeah, that's how we do it. Yeah, that's how we do it here. So when you come here, be on your best behavior. Okay? Be on your best behavior. Notice how some motherfuckers ain't got wrenches no more. Notice that? There's a reason for that. If you have a wrench, you're a motherfucker I trust to monitor my shit because you've proven yourself. That's why you have it. If you woke up this morning or you came to this channel, you still got a wrench, that means I trust you with my shit. You've proven yourself. I've watched you because I've looked at a couple of my videos. Yeah, I made sure I checked out a couple of my videos and see how much stupid shit get in there when you're there. Yeah. Go back and watch my stuff. See how much stupid shit was going through while you were there. That's right. Had to do a little research on my own platform. Had to research my own shit. You still got a wrench? You've proven to me that you deserve to have it. That's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now I know some of you probably came in here. Oh, and he took my wrench, bitch ass nigga. Yep. But if you write that in the chat room, one of the motherfuckers who do got a wrench gonna block your ass. How's that? Because see, sometimes Negroes have to be monitored. Yeah, you got to monitor them. And some Negroes don't need to be writing in your chat room. They really don't. They need to just watch in silence. You know? Oh, absolutely, Lady Aisatta. As a matter of fact. Absolutely, Lady Aisatta. I will say this. Some of you don't deserve to be writing in people's chat rooms. You need to just go ahead and dislike the video, whatever your ass gonna do, and just watch it or whatever. And you Negroes know who I'm talking to. Because, see, I'm the type of person that, you know, I'm not one for naming names. People, oh, man, you don't name names. You're a coward. No. I don't name names. You know why? Because, see, whoever it applies to, it applies to. If you don't think I'm talking about you, I'm not. But if you do think I'm talking about you, fuck it. I am. You can take that any way you like it. If you don't think I'm talking about you, I'm probably not. If you do think I'm talking about you, though, I probably am. And that's it. That's it. That's how we're doing things going forward. Because I'm tired of the disrespect. Just tired of it. So there ain't going to be none of that no more. And I'll say again, that's why you saw that robot. So that robot, study writing that shit in the chat. The disrespect would not be tolerated. Notice how that shit kept going up in the chat? That's the Streamlabs robot. Checking you. Making sure you don't do nothing stupid. Because certain things you write, it's just going to block you automatically. That's how it's set up. It just block your ass automatically. So be careful what you write, folks. If you ever want to write in here again. Because see me, I'm a believer in not unblocking people. If one of my moderators block you, you remain fucking blocked. I don't second guess them. I don't go back in there and be like, oh, let me unblock this person. Nope. There's too many motherfuckers on the block list anyway. I ain't going in there and unblocking your ass, look for your name. I ain't doing that shit. You better make another account and just be on your best behavior when you come back. If you want to type in the chat room, because guess what? If they block that account, I ain't going to unblock that motherfucker neither. I'm not going to do it. Yeah, once they block you, that's it. I don't second guess my moderators. I'm sorry, I don't, folks. If they done blocked you, you just blocked. I'm sorry. I don't go in there and, oh, let me go in there and look for their name. I ain't doing that shit. Too many motherfuckers in there. I ain't doing that. You can keep from getting blocked. Just don't say nothing stupid. That's all. You have to worry. Because, see, I tell my moderators, don't block people just because they disagree with me or, they discussing or whatever. Don't block them for that. You block them when they disrespect motherfuckers up on here, on this little screen. The little fights that y'all have between each other out there, fine. It's just like if two, three of y'all motherfuckers in my house, right? Say I invite y'all over and we drinking beers and shit. And a couple of you motherfuckers done had too many of them. And now y'all want to fight. Y'all got to get the fuck out the house. Y'all motherfuckers go fight in the street. I don't care about you fighting in the street. I'm not going to let you be in my house fighting and knocking over my TV and then falling on the couch and knocking over my wife's plants and shit. No. Motherfucker, go outside and go on the street and fight. Same thing with this shit here. See this shit here? This little shit over here? See, this is the street. Y'all fight with each other in there. That shit don't bother me at all. Don't bother me at all. It's when the fight comes in here, okay? And you start disrespecting the people that's sitting on this panel and shit. That's what I got a problem with. That bothers me more than you disrespecting me. Because, see, I come up here and talk to y'all. See, I signed up for this shit. I signed up for it. I signed up for it as for being up here. But when people come up here as my guests, they didn't sign up to be disrespected by the motherfuckers in here. They didn't sign up for that. They came because I invited them. They've been invited. So I take that shit personally. And I don't want dumb motherfuckers in the chat room fucking disrespecting them. Motherfuckers gonna learn. And me, myself, see, because I get around. I watch a lot of this shit. Especially when I'm home. I'm in the house. I watch a lot. I do. I watch a lot of people's stuff. Sometimes I don't say shit. Sometimes I be in the chat room. Sometimes I don't. It all depends. It all depends. It all depends. Shit. It all depends. All I know is, guess what? I'm not going to be putting up with no bullshit. And like I said, I get around. I watch other people's platforms. If you're a motherfucker that I see being disrespectful in other people's chat rooms, as soon as I see your ass appear in mine, I'm going to block you the fuck out of here. Even if you ain't saying nothing disrespectful right then and there. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I ain't going to give you the fucking opportunity. I ain't going to give you the opportunity to become disrespectful here. You're not going to get the opportunity. You're going to get the opportunity. No. As soon as I see your name pop up, you could come in here and say, hey, X, But if you're a motherfucker that I saw being disrespectful in somebody else's shit, I know it's just a matter of time before you do it here. So I ain't gonna give you the opportunity. I'm just gonna cut your fucking head off. That's it. You'll be writing me, oh heck, man, that's fucked up. Why you? Well, there it is. I was watching you. Yeah, I was watching you and other people's shit. That's right. I'm really hard on the no disrespect rule. I'm going to enforce that shit hard over here. So if you want to be over here and you want to interact in the chat, because I know y'all like writing in the chat. I know Negroes like to act all tough. Oh, man, I don't give a fuck. You Negroes like writing in that chat. You know you do. You like interacting with the folks. You like saying shit. You like interacting with the people that's up on this panel and shit like that and asking questions. You like doing it. You do. So if you want to continue to do what you like over here, there's going to be a level of respect for the people up on this fucking screen that you're looking at. That's just the truth. And if that's too much to ask for you people, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I mean that shit. And I'm going to stay on this shit. I am not going to let up. I'm not. I don't care if my numbers drop by 50%. That's the price I'm willing to pay to make sure motherfuckers act like grown folks when they're here. That's the price I'm willing to pay. Here's what it is. I got time for this shit, man. I'm too old for that kind of crap. And a lot of y'all are too. And a lot of y'all are too. And you goddamn know it. Grow the fuck up. Grow up. Because if I see any juvenile, immature, disrespectful shit in my chat, you won't have to worry about writing in here anymore. That's it. And you can claim not to care and all of that. But I know you'd be fucking lying. Especially on Wednesday nights. Everybody else will be writing and saying shit to each other. You have to just sit and watch. See all your buddies writing, saying, what's up, hey. And you used to people shouting you out and all that. And you just have to sit there and watch. And hit and hit the freaking and hit this dislike right here. Right. It's up to you how it goes down. I don't give a shit. Not letting Negroes fuck shit up for me or nobody else. Because I can control it. This is something I have control over, and I'm going to control it. I'm going to control it, and I'm sorry. Well, actually, I'm not. Actually, I'm not sorry. Because once again, motherfuckers going to act like grown-ups over here, or you'll be forced to just watch. You won't be able to interact with these folks, and no. Nope. And I say again, when my moderators block your ass, you blocked for good. You got to go, in them 25 accounts that you got and come back. And I will block every 25 of those accounts if you say something disrespectful. That's it. Do what you want. It's up to you how it goes down for yourself. Why? Because, see, I'm deciding how it goes down over here. You don't like it too fucking bad. It's just the way it's going to be. That's the way it has to be. Because if you let it be liberal and you let it be loose, for some reason Negroes always mess it up. They'll mess it up for everybody else because they don't know how to fucking act. They don't know how to act. Oh, half raised, no daddy having motherfuckers raised by the old black ass mammies. That's why they don't know how to fucking act. Girls raised by men, we don't act like that. We know better. Come up on somebody's platform and disrespect them. And say something stupid. Out of the way. So no daddy having ass Negroes. Act just like them old crazy bras that they talk about all the time. They worse than them. Because they a man doing the shit. Tell you about your life. Tell you how you should do shit. Man, shut the fuck up. Then wonder why they spending the rest of their damn life living in mama basement. Because the way your ass think, Negro, you ain't even got the decency to conduct yourself like a fucking grown-up. Because if you was a grown-up, you wouldn't be 35 living in your mama's basement. That ain't what grown-ups do. Grown-ups don't get in people's chat rooms and say a bunch of stupid shit. And disrespect folks either. They don't do that either. At least not no grown-ups I know. Only here. Only on this damn platform. We get these old foolish acting Negroes. Don't know how to act. What's good, brother C Boogie? I see you up there, man. Get up in your chat room and don't know how to act. To what end? Then they wonder why people don't fucking respect them. They wonder why people don't want them nowhere. Shit, I don't have that problem. I got motherfuckers invite me to their platform all the time. I'm always turning some of that shit down because I can't do it. I don't have the time. Because they know when they bring me up on the platform, I'm not going to disrespect them. I'm not going to disrespect their platform. I ain't going to do none of that shit. They know that off top. Now I may come up there and say some shit that people disagree with and call a few women hoes and shit like that, but I may get up there and do that, but I'm not going to disrespect them or their platform. They know that when they ask me. And anybody who's anybody on here don't have no problem with me coming on their platform. Isn't that something? Little old me with my little old channel. And I take great pride in that. Because I've earned people's respect, man. Because I try to be respectable with people, everybody. A baseline of respect, a minimum. A lot of you fucking people out there, you don't get respect because your ass ain't respectable. You ain't respectable. Motherfuckers can't respect you. How they gonna respect you? You ain't a respectable person. They already know what you're about. They already know what you're gonna do. Goddamn Negroes. A fucking embarrassment to all of us. You have these Negroes up here talking about setting some bar for somebody else. They ain't qualified to set the bar for nobody, man. You want to set the bar for somebody, get out of your mama basement. Get out of your mama's basement. Get out of grandma's attic. And then teach those other motherfuckers that's in grandma's attic, teach them how to get out of there. Do that. Do that. Listening to you Negroes. Who are you to instruct anybody? Really? Kill me with that shit. But anyway, make sure you have your black behinds here, man. Saturday, we're going to be throwing down with a special edition debate. Y'all know we usually throw down on the debates on Wednesday, but this Saturday, we got a special edition debate. Brother Jay Shine is taking on Brother M.O.T. And they're debating whether or not SYSBM is a fraud. That's going to be a good one because all the SYSBM dudes going to be there. You know, it's going to be a good one, y'all. It's going to be a good one. I'm pretty sure. It's going to be a good one. So make sure you have your black behinds here Saturday evening as we throw down on another Hours of Powers debates with my man Jay Shine and Brother M.O.T. throwing down on this whole SYSBM thing, man. It should be a barn burner because y'all all know who M.O.T. is and y'all know who Brother Jay Shine is, so y'all already know what it's gonna be. All right. Far as next week's debates and next week's shows, I usually like to keep y'all up on it. I have two of, because I think I'm going to go ahead and do another doubleheader debate next week, y'all. So I have two people already lined up. I'm not going to say anything yet because I haven't kind of situated the way I wanted to, but y'all just be on the lookout for the promo. I usually throw the promo up like Saturday, Sunday. Y'all look out for that. Thursday, I'm going to try to do an interview on Thursday because I actually been asking somebody that I've been trying to interview for a while. So I'm going to try to see if I can get them on this Thursday. So, you know, just like I said, stay tuned for the promo. Look out for the thumbnails, y'all. But we're going to have a blockbuster debate on Saturday. So make sure you have your behinds there Saturday evening. Like I said, Wednesday debate is almost settled. I'm just waiting for a couple people to hit me back up. Just pay attention to the thumbnails and the promos, and you'll know who's throwing down next week. I appreciate all of y'all, man, for coming through tonight. All you folks over here in this chat room, our moderators, doing what you got to do as always. But most importantly, man, I want to thank y'all, man, for watching us, man, and spending some time with us tonight, man, on the TPOT YouTube page. It's always appreciated. What I need you to do now is get your black behinds down to Facebook. Get on down to our community page. It's the Proper Thought series on Facebook. Proper Thought, one word, series, the next word on Facebook. Go ahead, like the page, share the page, follow the page. You could even catch up with old X down there. Just drop me a line. I'm guaranteed to get back to you within 24 and 168 hours. While you're down there, make sure you get on down to the Proper Thought Series fan group page. That's the Proper Thought Series fan group page on Facebook. Go ahead, request to be a member. You're guaranteed to get up in there quick. Like I always say, it's a group page. So, you know, you don't just got to listen to X run his mouth down there. It's a bunch of other people posting and running their old mouths too. So go ahead and request to be a member. Also, check us out on WhatsApp and Instagram. That's Proper Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. I'll say it again. Proper Thought. Leave out the series on Instagram. Go ahead, follow us on Instagram. You're guaranteed to get a follow back. And you know, we got to end the night like this. Get your back behinds down to Twitter. The Twitter handle is at TPOT Media on Twitter. That's at TPOT Media on Twitter. Go ahead. Follow us on Twitter. Because if you don't, I will haunt your old black ass mama in her dreams for the next 5 years. So once again, I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight, man. And I also want to thank Lady Aisatta. I want to thank Lady Danielle and Lady Ruby for coming through tonight. And also, I want to thank the president of the Mecklenburg, North Carolina N.A.A.C.P, the Reverend Corinne Mack, for coming through and taking on a pretty tough interview. I wasn't easy on her, y'all, and she didn't flinch. She answered every question I asked her, and it was a pretty good interview. And hopefully, you know, she'll invite me down to one of those meetings, like she said, when these presidential candidates come down there, and I'll go down there, man, and I'll make sure I bring it back to y'all. Y'all got my word on that. All right. All right. So with that, I will leave you with 3 words. You know, like I always do. Open your minds. And we out of here, y'all. Peace, folks.
Dark things. Yeah,